Thanks for giving me the opportunity to fight.
Appreciate you so much. Everything you've done, bro. Everything you've done. I appreciate it. Because they don't know. This is a tough business that they're in, you know what I'm saying? Iron sharpens iron. You understand?
I understand.
Woo! While they sleep, we work! While they sleep, we work!
You speak as though I have conquered death. I live death every day. I am surrounded by it, smothered by it. Look at you now. He would have everlasting life. You seek to defy death, yet you cannot even defy sleep. And our like sleep is to death. It is a painted death.
My wife, she's missing. I fear terribly for her safety.
Some women are just looking for a reason to go missing.
She disappeared into the Ahedar Desert, the heart of the Whispering Waste.
As suicides go, it has an exotic appeal.
I fear she has returned to my former mansion. If you would track her, find her, bring her home.
You'd pay me in sad looks and liquor?
The mansion was never reclaimed by the tax collectors. Dark rumors swirl amid the whispering winds. Land leviathans maroon amid the dunes and cataclysms past. If my vault is untouched, its entire contents, the wealth of 5 noble generations, are yours.
You had your openers and closers reversed.
I should warn you, Sir Thief, or Nachtin the boards call it. The dead citadel. Worse still, the Whispering Wastes do not lie empty. Rumors swirl of a figure, stooped and shrouded in grey, face hidden, dragging a silver blade at his side, carving his way through the criminal element of 2 entire countries. None have divined its purpose, and it has only ever spoken one word, one most would not even recognize as a name.
I remember childhood without any friends. Just me and my imagination. So I made up my own friend. Crim's my best bud. I don't know what I'd do without him. But there's some things we should keep locked away. Not the imaginary friends, but the imaginary fiends. Crim, where are you?
Nosfero, does this word not sound like the death bird culling the living dead at dawn? It is the name both ghouls and demons dare not say, for they know it means death for the undead.
Hello everyone. How are you doing this fine Sunday afternoon? It is beautiful weather here in Rhode Island, Lovecraft country, as some of you may know. And I am working on Nosfero the Crypt Walker. This is Shanth Enjeti art. My name is Shanth Enjeti, and here's what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be doing some detailing on various pages, getting continuity together, and in general, crushing it, man. And it's been going great. Your support has been tremendous. This project is looking fantastic. I'm going to adjust this so I can give you guys a little bit of a better angle on what I'm doing there. There we go. Let me move the light. The trickiest thing about doing there you go. Trickiest thing about doing traditional media is getting the angle right so that you guys can see it, and as well as me being able to see it. But you guys get a sense of what's going on. We have got Nosfero's Hellhound that he rides around on. Or I should say Spirit World Hound, because he's a pretty good character. And then I've got this this sort of climax. It's right before where he's going in to have the final showdown. And what I'm doing right now is every single page is painted. There's been a couple of things I've had to update a little bit. Here's the cover of Nosfero. I had to change Laurel's face to be more Laurel-like. So you guys can see that Laurel is, surprised and actually looks like herself now, which is a very Laurel thing to do. And I've been kind of, putting things together and getting things, the dialogue scripted and everything like that. And it's been a blast, man. Oh, thank you so much, man. Yeah, the dog is going to be a lot of fun in this book. It's a character, how do I word this? I've spent pretty much I guess I would say, gosh, I wonder when that started. It may be now over a decade. It might be like 15 or so years since I started seriously reading H.P. Lovecraft stuff. And I had no idea at that point that I was going to be obviously doing the Comicsgate or Indiegogo was going to exist. I don't even think I knew that Facebook was going to exist or any of that stuff. Or maybe it already did and I was just out of touch. But I had no idea that I was going to be in this place. But I was completely captivated by his storytelling and the stuff that he did and the world building that he did. And so this kind of has stuck with me during this entire thing. So trying to create something where you visually create forces of good that can live up to the incredible forces of evil, malevolence, and cosmic horror that he does was sort of the challenge from the start of this. And that's where we've been, man. That's what we've been working on. So let's see who we've got here in the chat. Let's see here. Up first and foremost is Stephen Rockwood, the first channel member. It is great to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday, Cranberry Langers, also a channel member. My gosh, you guys are great. Thank you for being here. We've got Skunk Artworks in the house. Skunk Artworks, it's great to see you. I hope you're doing well. Hello to you, too. Gosh, Stephen Rockwood just dropping links like Oscar Mayer there. You got to love it. Check out my brother, Michael Bancroft's Painted Death, the sequel to Lucent. It's going to be awesome. Shitbird Militia, another channel member in the house. It is great to have you here, Shitbird Militia. I hope you're doing well. Hail to you, my friend, and hail to the chat, indeed. We've got General Piggy in the house. Hail, General Piggy. It is great to see you, my friend. And I hope you're doing well. Another excellent channel member here. We've got Vero Frady. It's good to see you, Vero. Hope you are doing well on this fine Sunday fun day. Amen. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition, as they say. And let's see who else we've got here. Okay, we've got Crenshaw FAO. It's good to see you. Hail, Shanth, hail, chat. Doing some meal prepping while I watch. Well, listen, my friend. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. I'm sure it'll be more delicious than what I could cook. Charlie Stevenson saying, hey, everybody. Hey, Charlie Stevenson. How are you doing? It's great to see you here in the chat. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. And let's see, Teflon Ron is in the house. Hail, Teflon Ron. Hail, chat. Cheers, Cranberry Langers. Indeed, Teflon Ron. It's good to see you. Nothing sticks to a man, Teflon Ron. So this has been the big kind of, goal for this book, as it now is, I mean, I keep saying, like, okay, we're here, in this project. But until I started, just finalizing the script that had been in a Pages document, and then kind of putting that together onto this, and then saying, okay, what does the artwork have to show? And I had made some story changes, or I should say some changes with some of the weaponry that Nosfero uses, in this case his sword. And I needed to make sure I went through, and this was one of those pages where I went through and made sure that the blade was red, because the blade of his sword is made of a special material that we're going to get into that makes it ideal for slaying vampires and other worldly creatures. And if I could describe its material to you, just in a sense that is the closest I can do to a good explanation, it's sort of like a red obsidian. If you know what obsidian is, you've seen it in a lot of the weaponry of the Mayans and that kind of thing, but it's kind of like an indestructible red obsidian is what his sword is. And so these are the kinds of things when you're writing a story and you're trying to build a world. Actually, I want to pause right there. A world will be built. I have a basic idea of its physics, but I am definitely not writing around world building. That's not a anti-world building thing. It's just I like to keep my possibilities open, and I like for things to expand. So there is no, Nosfero, these are the characters, these are their alignments. Like, that stuff kind of exists in my head. In this case, it's much more of a page-to-page, how do I make everything as exciting as possible? And the core game plan is kind of hashed out in every single title from the standpoint of, it's hashed out on every, single issue of this book based on making sure things aren't contradictory. So the continuity kind of grows out of, the attention to detail. It happens in post, so to speak. And that's kind of the fun thing about it. Not in post, because there's prep work done. You guys have seen my sketches. Hail, Shanth. Hey, Sheeple Hunter, how are you doing? It's great to see you, man. Yes, indeed. Oh, no, it's not silver, but respect to Blade, the Daywalker. Red obsidian, yeah. Obsidian is volcanic glass, yes. And this is obsidian-like. This, yeah, I don't want to give it away because I don't know if I'm going to reveal it in this book. So, it's funny, though, because during the writing process, I try not to clunkily add exposition in, but all of the pages are designed to give you exposition in the sense of hopefully free-flowing exposition. It should feel fairly natural. There's a lot of action. If there's a conversation page, it's got to be somewhat elegant and beautiful to fit in with the world here and in with the style that I'm taking with these pages. But for the most part, we do our exposition through either really beautiful, surreal kind of imagery, or, you know, I kind of approach it from a standpoint of, you know, doing it with the action, you know, taking place. And this is a really good example of that. You know, I'm showing certain aspects of this world, but I'm not kind of pausing to show them. You know what I mean? Like, you get a sense of how these characters come together, what certain rituals are, and that's really what it comes down to. But yeah, I mean, it's, guys, I got to tell you something. Looking at this book and seeing where it is at right now is incredible. I just am so relieved and elated that this crazy thing I undertook with going, I'm tired of doing stories or trying to come up with story ideas where it's, you know, it's done sort of from the larger game plan out, and I want to see if I can just do a story that is just really entertaining and reads, and this is everything I set out to do. So yeah, and the cool thing about doing it is if you don't like it, it's my fault. So it's all on that. I'm not going to blame Eric Weathers ever, because his letterings will never be the problem. It's kind of Blood Cityan. Good. Yeah, you can imagine, right? Yeah, you're getting there. You're getting there. It's yeah, it's a very Lovecrafty kind of thing, if that makes sense. And arts and Lovecrafts is what we do here. But yeah, it's so cool, man. This stuff, like, once the kind of concept of the Order of Golgotha kind of came together, and I understood, you know, how I was going to, you know, connect this stuff up. Everything else has been just kind of really, oh gosh, I have the camera in the wrong place. Everything else has been really free-flowing on this book in terms of how it comes together. And it's not like you're doing a series of spreads, because, as you know, making really active kind of comics and comics that have a sense of life to them, there's always a sense of play. Like, you have to keep that sense of play in there. But you can't just go, well, this is just going to be fun, and have no idea where it's going. So I try to always, you know, have the best of both worlds in it. And then there's some nods to my earliest comic book stuff, which is to say a comic book I did when I was 14. It now has 2 references in this book. So that's kind of fun. I mean, it's not like an actual reference to a comic, but there's like little names of things like that are in there. I'm a big believer in you know, how do I word this? I'm a big believer in the power of abandoning childhood ideas, because I have a tendency, sounds terrible, but when I was teaching, I had a lot of students who would come in with an idea that, you know, they came up with when they were 14. And the thing that I ran into with that is an idea you came up with when you were 14 is an idea you could come up with when you were 14, if that makes sense. And so that was, yeah, it is. Well, it's also covered in blood quite frequently, Cranberry Langer. So you aren't wrong there. That's for sure. But yeah, it's, I mean, come on, you guys know this stuff. That's well, desiring to live. Oh, it's not like that, but that's terrifying. Yeah, I love Tolkien stuff, and I love the world building thing. Nosfero 1 and 2, related. Family, don't tell me yes. Oh, I don't know. Oh, are the enemies from Nosfero 1 and 2 related or family? Don't tell me if yes. No, they're not actually. Nope. Yeah, that's another thing, right? Instead of, I'm going to try to accomplish, to the extent that, of course, it's you know, possible for me as a creator, I want to create a sense of depth with this stuff, but that is not my goal in terms of my primary objective. My primary objective is to create a lot of breadth with this story, which is to say that, or with Nosfero. So just like with The Shadow, where you would meet new villains and there weren't a lot of, you know, constant reoccurring characters, with Nosfero, the objective is I want to introduce you to more and more new characters every issue in the Pulp tradition. So I hope that if you're a Nosfero fan, you enjoy all of these stories and you have some that are your favorites. But when I want to have a lot more under my belt before I start worrying about big overarching stories, because I heard a person give some really good advice, which is sometimes if you've got too many long-term thoughts about something, you can miss the opportunities that are in your periphery. Hey, what's up, Sumo Thori channel member? It is great to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here on this fine Sunday. I hope you're doing well, man. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's I guess that's the biggest thing, you know. It's like, hide the pound cake, Shanth, cops are onto you. I know, did you hear the sirens? Yeah, whenever I have the window open, you can totally hear that, yeah. And, well, that's a really good example. Okay, so let's talk about somebody who we all know about Tolkien, hopefully. Amazing genius. I actually have some books of his artwork and his writing there. Incredible. Not a big influence on me, and not as a knock, but it's, my stuff is, he's one of those creators that I love the stuff that he does, but I can't imagine, you know, doing it. It's not my genre and it's not my approach. But if you think about the Cthulhu mythos and you think about what Lovecraft created, it grew organically out and connected organically. And because things were like that, it takes on a life of its own and it can keep expanding and it can keep going different places. It's not to say that he didn't have ideas for where it was going, but you can tell it clearly evolved as it went. And that's a big thing for me. Mike likes tacos. It's great to see you, man. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Let's see here. Yeah, I thought the cops were outside on my street. Stephen Rockwood says Teflon Ron. Hey, what's up, Lloyd Burton? How are you doing, my friend? Hail, Shanth, and the chat. Happy Palm Sunday. Happy Palm Sunday to you, Lloyd Burton. It's great to see you, my friend. And this is the thing, right? When we're working on this stuff, and I was developing it, I kept thinking about, again, because I'm, you know, actually in Lovecraft country, I just kept thinking about how you can grow something and let it just happen organically. And that's been sort of the way I've done things with this channel, and that's the way that I typically think most creators do things. I mean, when I look at The Rocketeer, when I look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all of that stuff, you know, has had this kind of, this road of creative growth. And you kind of start to get characters over time that you can see people are connecting with, and you get this larger lore. But I'm much more of that kind of strategy person. I can't do a 4-issue miniseries because it seems to me like you'd be completely boxed in. I respect people who do. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get that. Hey, Lloyd Burton, says Cranberry Langers. Because this is the thing, man. At least for me. When you're doing your own work and you're responsible for everything that you're doing in terms of you're the artist, you're the writer, and it's all on your shoulders, I think sometimes there's a satisfaction that comes from letting each project, you know, for me at least, letting each project be self-contained. So there were Lovecraft stories that I read when I was early in my Lovecraft reading that tied into the Lovecraft mythos or the Cthulhu mythos in a way, but I kind of glazed over those bits because I hadn't read the other books yet. Like, I was like, okay, that's interesting, but that seems like a throwaway line. And then, you know, as many have said, it's not like he set out to grow this grand mythos. First and foremost, he was just trying to do, you know, work that was inspired by one of his heroes, Edgar Allan Poe, but also get more writing work and hone his craft, no pun intended. And that's pretty much what I'm doing here. You know what I mean? Hey, Cranberry, I love the cheerleader. Love seeing the cheerleader in the chat, man. Love those gals. Just in case you guys are wondering, for those of you guys who like to watch Jericho Green's show and his channel, I just, oh gosh, you know, it's like I love doing videos for people when I get a chance. And I just did an intro video for his show because he does not have an intro video for his live show. And I don't do these things, again, because there's some massive, massive grand plan. I do these things because I'll think about it. I'll go, it's like the any of the videos I've done for Ethan, for that matter. I'll go, oh, yeah, I need to do something for that. And sometimes I can't really come up with anything great. And then something will just pop into my head and I'll go, all right, now I know what I'm going to do. And in this case, it was a piece of music I heard. And when I heard the music, I just saw an opening for his show. And yeah, I finished that. I did that for a couple hours on yesterday when I was taking a writing break. And I think it's going to be great, and I think it's going to help grow his channel. Hey, there's a channel member I haven't seen in a bit. Hey, how are you doing? It's, hi, Shanth. Hi, everyone. Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. I'm watching, but not in chat so much. Love and happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, Courtney. It's great to see you in here. Jim Cox, legendary channel member. Thank you for gifting all those channel memberships, Jim Cox. I really appreciate it. It's great to see you. What's up, homie? I hope you're doing well. But yeah, it is, and yes, Teflon Ron says, Happy Palm Sunday indeed. Lloyd Burden, I was watching the 10 Commandments, amazing movie, on ABC last night. It never gets old. Now that is movie magic in extreme effect. Beautiful stuff. And yes, hail Teflon Ron and hey Jim Cox. Yeah, I gotta tell you guys, a movie that really it just captivates me every time I see it, no matter how many times I see it, is Ben-Hur. And I got the limited edition box set of that because it is, God, we talk about epic. It is such an incredible work of cinema, and I love that movie to bits. And I think 10 Commandments is also a really great film, in terms of tackling, religious subject matter, obviously. That is not an easy thing to do. There's a reason why the people who do religious artwork that you've heard about are people like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, and those are tough waters to get into as an artist. And the people who do it and do it well are extraordinary. But that's true with cinema. When you think of DeMille's Samson and Delilah, I think even Prince of Egypt is an astoundingly beautiful movie when I watch that. But yeah, 10 Commandments is epic, absolutely epic. Let's see, but I'm watching everyone have a great day. Absolutely, that's what it's all about. The sun is shining, and you gotta love it. You gotta love it. It's just great stuff. Oh gosh, my goodness, Courtney, you never have to apologize for that here. Never, never, never. Take care of yourself. That is the most important thing. And I know obviously you guys aren't kids, but you know what I'm talking about. Those of you guys who are parents, have nieces, nephews, have friends with kids, whatever it is you've got going on in your life, or have kids yourself. One of the biggest things we always said about when our kids would break things is we'd go not bones, God, not that, God forbid, but whenever something would they break like a vase or a glass or something like that, and they'd feel really bad about it or upset, we'd say it's okay. We know it was an accident. Try to be careful, but just remember, it's a thing. It's not a person. And I always want you guys first and foremost, like it's with everybody I meet, it's take care of yourself. Take care of yourself and make sure you're healthy. I started going for walks with the missus as a result of just us going, man, we need to get our stuff together. And it's been good for us. So yeah, health first. If you're ever under the weather or anything like that, just know I hope you feel better. That is what it's about. And when you're on the mend, I hope you stay there. That's what it comes down to for me. Let's see here. Yeah, hit that like, y'all. Thank you so much, Jim Cox. You're a legend, man. Yeah, Ben-Hur is stellar. The aspect ratio of that movie, when you see it widescreen, I was about to say it's chilling, but in a good way. It's sublime. You look at it, and I guess that's one of the things, right? I am somebody who views themselves as a servant of aesthetics. There are so many artists I love who bring, visual richness and have brought visual richness into my life, and their styles are not all the same. But there is this kind of almost exhilarating feeling when you have an aesthetic experience with something that's great. And I'm fortunate enough to be working around a lot of artists who do that for me, and who I am able to do that for, which is a great feeling, And one of the best things about Comicsgate for me is seeing the behind-the-scenes artwork and swapping artwork, and saying people say, hey, this is a new page I've done. Getting those kinds of things is the best, man. That's what I love so much, It's I love when I see other creators' artwork in progress, and seeing, draw streams and things like that. That's the fun stuff for me, because that kind of, it just takes me back to, I was never around a lot of artists. I had a lot of friends who were supportive of the work I was doing. We just hang out and we talk about other things. But it is nice at this particular stage in my career, to just be around people who can throw down and just getting to see their artwork and talk shop. Because I do think that having, an amazing audience like we have here in CG, and with, indie people in the Iron Age space, which is, it's its own kind of unique animal, no pun intended, as I paint Phantomas. this is all exciting stuff. This is all cool stuff, but it's something I never take for granted because it was something that, I've been wanting for a long time. Even when I went off to art school, I had my comic book friends, right? But I didn't always have, that comics were not something, this may not surprise any of you, that art professors were particularly wild about, which is why when I went there, I was able to, when I was a teacher, I was able to kind of remedy that a little bit. But unfortunately, what are you going to do? The forces of fine arts always win. Let's see here. Not here, though. Yes, thank you so much, Jim Cox, for that. I'm trying to get healthier. Amen. Yeah, guys, seriously. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. Do it for the people you love. It's an important thing. I hate to, say that Chariots of Fire is a good faith film. Yes. Another film I love, by the way. How about Demetrius and the Gladiators? Ooh, that's a good one, too. I would say, oh gosh, I just had one when I was reading that one before. Chariots of Fire. And then, The Shadowlands. The pseudo C.S. Lewis biopic film is a really beautiful film. I love that movie. It's directed by Richard Attenborough, who directed Gandhi and played, of course, John Hammond in Jurassic Park. And just an amazing film. Love that stuff, it's the follow-up to Robe. There you go. Excellent. Yeah, this is the thing. When people are frustrated by pop culture, I always go, guys, watch some older stuff. Watch older great films. It's a tonic. That's one of the things we do on Double Impact. Obviously, we watch a lot of older action films. But when it comes to work, and I think we actually did talk about. We did do an episode with It's a Wonderful Life, which is another one of my favorite films. But I just think that there's so many great films out there that people can watch that will enrich your day and enrich your life. And when I'm creating, something like Nosfero, I always love to look at how these things begin. Because if it's not us who are going to be the people who make the next great works, then who the hell else is it going to be? We have to make this stuff happen. We seem to be the only people who are interested in and focused on entertainment, right? So it's going to have to come from people like us. And thankfully, I've had a couple of decades to put in the skill to make a book that really, really sings. I mean, look at this brushwork, guys. Come on now. Oh my God. And it's good. I mean, it's good to get practice writing fiction and things like that, which I've also been doing. I was reading the novel I'm working on to a friend of mine the other day, and he's like, I want to know what happens next. And I'm like, yeah, well, you're going to have to wait, man, because it's only something I can do in my free time because, not free time, my downtime, I should say. I actually work to relax. I work on different art forms. I was trying to learn how to play, what was I learning how to play? Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring on violin. I had about, and I want to get back to them, but it's a money thing. I had about a year and a half of violin lessons a couple of years ago, and I've been working on teaching myself the violin. So I wake up and I try to learn how to play things by ear, and then my teacher was good, taught me a little bit about reading music. But that's what I do in the morning when I wake up. Hey, what is up? Awesome one. Your comment was beautiful. I died laughing when I saw it. I love the all caps comment. Shout out to Ethan, by the way, but it was great. Magnificent Seven, Road to El Dorado, Angel and the Bad Man, North by Northwest, I love. I have it sitting right over there in my Hitchcock collection. Love that. Yeah, they made those movies on site too. Now, oh God, I can't deal with the CG environments. Yes, you're right, Teflon Ron. We were talking about that last stream. I'm seeing more and more people talk about that. Let's see. Yeah, they never seen a really good comic art then, I guess. Indeed. Yeah, there's some dynamite comic book artwork out there, right? Yes, happy Sunday and amen. Right on. Yeah, it's right. And the CGI is extra crap. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it is. Liberty, indeed. Liberty, liberty, liberty. Thank you for becoming a channel member. Awesome one. Much appreciated. And thank you, of course, to Jim Cox, you legend. Hail, American Comics Company. You're always in good company when American Comics Company's in the house. It is great to see you, my friend. I hope you are doing well. But, I just sort of think if you have the craftsmanship to do this, and not a lot of people do, it's, I wanted to, after years and years of putting my work ethic and my drive into people with philosophical beliefs that then became dogma that I find abhorrent, I wanted to do it in a place to where people believed in independence, freedom of speech, and certainly freedom of thought, and capitalism, and making money for what you do. Because at the end of the day, if it's not profitable to do this stuff, if it's not something you're able to have a life on, it's not worth doing. And if it's profitable and it's something that you can't look yourself in the mirror when you do it, for some of us, that's just not a thing we can do. So I think it's finding that space. And I feel very, very fortunate that even though I feel as though the comic book space at various points I've worked in it and I've been around it, but I was never able to find it. Everything in its own time. And I do think that this is it. You know, this was the time that I was waiting for. I couldn't have done this book in terms of my technical ability any sooner. I couldn't have done this book in terms of the story. All of it is that feeling of being helped with, and since it's Sunday, being helped by divine hands. And it really is an incredible experience, you know. I remember hearing Joseph Campbell talk about that with his own particular perspective. But I've certainly experienced it. You know, I've met a lot of really great people and a lot of really motivated people. And there are people who are none of those things everywhere. You really got to look for the places where those people exist at all. And I would encourage everybody, you know, when you're doing this stuff in life or anywhere else, you know, to find those people who are motivated, hardworking, optimistic. You know, they're not, you know, nihilistic or negative about how everything goes, because you can't really do much with that. But intelligent people with integrity and optimism will take you very, very far in this world. And they'll certainly make the journey better no matter how far you go. All right, let's see what else. Oh my gosh, we've got more comments. I looked down for 2 seconds. Can I get paid to chat? I'm like in chat in so many places. Seriously, well, this is the thing, right? It's the same thing with YouTubing. Apparently, I mean, one day I'm sure that will be the case, no doubt. But you might have to become a bot, though, unfortunately, to do that, which is less than optimal. Hail chat, hail Timmy Mello, channel member. I hope you all are having a good Palm Sunday. I hope you are having a good Palm Sunday, Timmy Mello. It's great to see you, and thank you so much, kind sir. Blackjack, hail CG. Indeed, hail CG, my friend. You're absolutely right. Yes, Palm Sunday, Jesus' return to Jerusalem, without a doubt. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. I mean, there are so many stories that need to be told in art forms so that they speak to a modern audience, or not a modern audience, I should say, a contemporary audience, because we know what a modern audience means, but a contemporary audience, which is to say artwork that translates things. That's what the Sistine Chapel was for its day, and that is what the Ten Commandments were. That's what so many movies and things. But comics, you got to find somebody who has got high level skill, deep understanding of how they're going to tackle the material, and who can make artwork. But either way, there is no reason why those things cannot be a part of the culture. Or of the character's world. Like, my characters exist in a world where, there's religion in it. Obviously, there's the Christian religion. It's very much, or Judeo-Christian traditions too, as well. And it has a lot to do with the fact that, this is a Hammer horror tradition. This is a part of the vampire stories that have been popularized. But there's also an aspect of the fact that a lot of people may not think about, which is you're free to do it. You know, you're free to do it. There's a panel in the book, which I was talking about last stream, where Laurel is reciting a Bible verse when she's in peril, when Nosfero first meets her. And there's something beautiful in the fact that she is saying this verse when he rescues her, but she's not paying attention to him. And I love that about the story. That's what's fun to me, anyway. Everybody's saying hello. It's good to see everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here, guys. I do appreciate it on this fine Sunday. I got really inspired to update my song to this show, because I was trying to get stuff that was copyright free, but then I want to feel pumped after the intro, and so I found a new song for that reason, and it was because I found a song for Jericho and was working on an intro for him, and then I was like, well, what am I doing? I'm like, I gotta have something this, like, once I did his intro, what's great about it is it inspired me to go, I need to update mine with some new music, man. And I need to keep searching until I find exactly what I'm looking for, which, it's an evolving process. But it fits me better, because I'm pumped, guys. I'm excited. You know, I'm excited to be doing this stuff, and I like to sort of feel the 3, 2, 1, go. That was a big part of the intros that I did for Ethan, the ones I've already done, is that if you look at those intros, I'm actually not thinking about those intros in terms of they're the whole thing, right? That's not the whole show. The intros that I do when I do those are what I'm keeping in mind is that that the next second is the person coming into the stream. So it's kind of like da 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 da. Here's the person, right? Charge. You guys know. Yes. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Nope, that's not the one. Although I do love that one. That's not the part of it. If that's, let me see which one it is. Hold on a second. I know it sounds like I should know this, but my brain is pudding at the moment. But it is. Let me see where I have that page. I mean, I'd love to show you these pages, but I can't because it's crappy lettering because it's not Eric Weathers yet. Let me see here. It is. Yes, there it is. The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. I still can't read. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. That would be the quote that Laurel says. And that was the thing. I am absolutely ready for Pastamania. I'm going to draw Pastamania, of course. We all must draw Pastamania. And I've always loved that. For the wrestling fans in here, last night's first night of WrestleMania was like a dream when it came to telling emotional and dramatic stories through the media of wrestling. Amen. Speaking of an art form that knows what it's doing, and by the way, you guys know this, there have been periods where the WWE/WWF, for those of us who are older, where it goes through periods where the drama, people aren't connecting, you can't force those things sometimes with it, but where the drama comes together, and when it comes together, it is an art form. Absolute art form. And you're supposed to be swept up and carried away by it. It's the same thing with comics. It's the same thing with manga. So hail, wrestling fans out there. And I hope everybody had a wonderful WrestleMania. Really do. Because, good things. Like, for me, I'm a boxing fan, and I love when there's a great boxing match on. And that's my go-to. And so I want the same thing for wrestling fans. I want the same thing for MMA fans. Shockingly, I like the idea of fans enjoying themselves. Weird when you think about it. Some weird, wild stuff. Yes, Pastamania, brother. Yep, gotta love the Pastamania. Was praying Psalm 4 this morning over my family. Oh, beautiful. Awesome one. That's great to hear. Much love. Much love. You're a good man. Yeah, that's a good one for safety. And the thing Rini even has an intro for her channel, even though it's kind of weak. Yes, absolutely. Not yes that it's weak, but yes, the intro of the channel. I haven't seen. I don't know if I remember Rini's intro for her channel. I remember doing the intro for Rini. But yeah, it's it's very hard to do. It's hard to do an intro for yourself. TC, what's up? Hail Shanth in chat. Shanth, what software do you use to edit video? So I use iMovie, and I use Photoshop, and then just a lot of painting skills in terms of digital painting skills. So I don't know if I can add this to the stream and then get rid of it. This is the only problem. But I want to see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do this without it being too annoying. Oh, you know what? I can't. I don't want to premiere Jericho's intro before I do it. But a lot of it is figuring out what font somebody is, figuring out how to put together their imagery. So what's a good example? There's a lot of counterintuitive things that people don't know how to do to promote themselves. So when I do videos, the reason why I think I'm able to do it is because I'm able to kind of step back from people and try to figure out what would be good for them to present. What's the best way to promote themselves for their audience? And so with someone like Rini, for an intro, I don't even know how I would approach that. I know how I approached her Comicsgate Kings intro, but yeah, we love Pastamania here. Yeah, I miss people actually wrestling. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You guys are killing me. Yes, on the red and yellow George Foreman grill. Gotta love it, man. But it's it's kind of sad. There's not a red and red. Hey, what's up, Eric the Guapo? It's great to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Yeah, curling is competitive mopping. There you go, man. Yes, let me see here. Yes, and Rey Mysterio, Friday night, he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. Wow, that must have been intense for him. And the next night, he's facing his wicked son as the aging superhero, forced to defect the honor of his wife, defend. I'm assuming you're saying the honor of his wife, the mother of his son. There you go. There you go. You corrected it before I got to it. Yeah. Mysterio, man, I thought he retired 10 years ago. Yeah, when people come back, guys, this is to me the legacy of certain artists, right? That when you leave a really great body of work, you know, whatever you're doing, whatever your chosen occupation is or profession is, you can always come back. People always wanted to see Jack Kirby do a new cover, a new piece of artwork, because these people left legacies, and seeing them do new artwork was almost like a continuation of that legacy. And I really think that, you know, there are certain artists in comics and every art form where when they do stuff, they have their fan base that's ride or die. And I feel very grateful that, you know, Shanth Enjeti Art has, you know, amassed the fan base first on Instagram and then inside of Comicsgate. Was always just about the painting. I didn't know who my audience is, and I'm learning about you guys more and more. And it's kind of cool. It's a very weird thing. You know, it's a very weird thing when you're painting and you've been doing this kind of thing for a very long time, to suddenly be in a situation where things that are beyond your wildest imagination in terms of technology are suddenly there and in front of you. Like, this is something I was thinking about when I was doing the intro I did for Jericho Green, which for his show, is that I remember when all of the television shows announced now in HD, which meant 1080p. Well, I'm streaming in 1080p right now from my house. I have a better camera than most soap operas or news shows were filmed on back in the day. So the question becomes, what are you going to put on screen? Where's that art? And that, for me, has been kind of one of the biggest things about this whole process, which is, I don't know if you guys heard that, but time for arthritis stuff. But that's one of the things that I still come back to, which is, like, how did we get to a point where we as artists take this technology and make art that's good enough to compete? Because I got to be honest, the intros that I see to television shows or big programming, they don't take much. I mean, I would love to do another pass on the Comicsgate Kings intro video when I have time, with my copious amounts of time. But I still think it holds up. Ethan gave me the song and said, like, maybe do something with, like, a Ghostbusters theme. I was like, I can't do Ghostbusters with this dude. I couldn't even think of how that would work. So I just tried to make a video for the intro for a Comicsgate King show that took a lot of the imagery from the intros I had done and then just do something that made just people go, yes! And I loved when Ethan got it, because he said something, I think it was to Cecil. He goes, I just want this thing to be even longer, you know? It's like, I enjoy it so much. Makes me smile, man. Ethan's a really fun person to do stuff for, because when he's he may say that he's not, but when he's excited when you do something for him, he does let you know. He's a good dude. I remember when I did the Cyberfrog trading card for him, and the first sketch he was like, yeah, no, and he's like, give it another pass, and he was right, absolutely right about that. I bring it up more than he does. Like, whenever I'm on his show, he's not the kind of person to kind of go, oh yeah, the first one was kind of, you know, what I do, because I thought it was funny. You know, but when I did the second one, he was like, this is like 1,000,000 times better. Great job. And I knew it. I knew it was 1,000,000 times better. And I was so grateful that, you know, that he pushes people, you know, to do the best stuff that they can do. And so when I do stuff for him, it's purely in friendship, and it's purely in just in support. And it made me really happy to see his reaction to the Comicsgate Kings intro video that you guys all watch probably every Monday. And I hope that Jericho Green's audience feels the same way about the video I did for him. You know, these are things you do for your friends, right? It's like, try to help him out wherever you can. And he's a good dude. Both those guys are good dudes. So many pasta carbs. I know. I'm on a diet right now. We're on this Mediterranean diet, so I don't think there's going to be a lack of pasta in it. But, oh, man. My brother has, advanced arthritis. It's the first time he's ever been advanced at something. He's very proud yet. Stephen Rockwood, you're killing me. TC in the house. It's good to see a TC. Those intros are really good. Very random, but fitting at the same time. And that's the trick, right? Because, I mean, I'm sure you guys remember this. When I did Shane's intro, Shane was under a lot of fire. Not just outside, but just Shane was kind of... I remember one time, around the time I made that video, he goes, I keep waiting for the day when I'm not going to be the whipping boy of of these streams. And I wanted to do something because Shane is such an amazing artist. Shane and Yanzi both are fantastic, but Shane's such an amazing artist. He's very passionate about what he does. And I just wanted to, and he was an expectant father, and there was a baby on the way. And I just wanted to do a stream that captures what I love about Shane. And, you know, his hand gestures, his passion. And so I took this song that I would play for my wife, and whenever she needed to get psyched up, and when she would go for walks, she would listen to it, called "Let Your Tiger Out" by Maximum Balloon. And I just went, this is perfect, because Shane is Cat Pappy, and we're gonna have it be Tiger. And when that video launched, it was like instantly tigers for Shane. It was great. And it's not that no one had ever said that before, but it really cemented it, which was fantastic. There it is. Yeah, Timmy Mello's dropping those tigers, man. Let your tiger out. Amen. I mean, you know, you got to do that stuff. And you guys were the ones who talked about, let me see, when I was in Sicily, the neighbors invited us for dinner. They had like a tub full of pasta to feed 40 people. Needless to say, we didn't leave hungry. You will not leave hungry in those situations, man. But it was you guys saying, yeah, Shane is a damn champ, man. Seriously. And I know, listen, guys, I remember when Lauren was expecting our twins. It's obviously a complicated pregnancy when twins are involved, and you know, and you know, one is you know, turned the wrong way and all that other stuff. Like, that stuff is intense. But I could relate so much when Shane was talking about the God, what's it called? The pregnancy diabetes. You guys know what I'm talking about. And you worry as a husband. Like, as a husband, if your wife is your only family, you know, and you know, I think Shane and I have a similar background in that sort of way. She's your entire world, and when she's pregnant, it's your entire world times 2, or in my case, it's times 3. And that's what that video is about. Every time that video plays, if people want to know what was going into that video when I made it, like the behind the scenes on that was one dad sending some love and support to a future dad. You know what I mean? And a good dude. That's what that video was about, man. And yeah, much love to Shane and Yanzi and their beautiful family and beautiful pterodactyl. God bless them. You know, and that's really what that was about. That's what that came down to. And there have been a bunch of videos like that. You know, I mean, if you actually look at the stuff when Aaron Lepresti was under fire, Aaron and Shelley were under fire, and much love to them as well. That's when he was on the show. I came on the show and told him, because Ethan had like an open stream where anybody could come on. And I told him, I said, I'm going to find an intro for you. And I knew that Aaron was, you guys know Aaron. I knew that Aaron would not want something that was, you know, gross or, you know what I'm saying. It would be something that would just not make him uncomfortable, basically. So I must have looked at, to come up with that concept of Apocalypse Now for Aaron and all of that. Oh my Lord. Thank you. You're welcome. Take a bow, drop the mic. That was 100% my brainchild. And it worked wonderfully. He loved it, he enjoyed it, and you guys enjoyed it. That's the job. That's what we do. Speaking of my Comicscape brothers, hi Shanth and friends. Hi Dan Lawless, Grosse Point Dank, my brother. It is good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. We gotta chinwag sometime. We gotta talk. Yeah, gestational diabetes. Thank you so much. Diabetes. That's right, Stephen Rockwood. Yeah, Jimmy Reyes is the new whipping boy now. No. And hail Jimmy Reyes. Let me see here. Shane is a damn champ. Yes, he is. Let me just make sure I get these. I cherish his Superman Earth 1 comic. Yep, one of his best works as an artist. Even if he doesn't think much of it, I have that comic in my library proudly displayed. Yeah, indeed, Timmy Mello. Great artist. And again, it's always great to see Dan in the chat, man. Dan Dan and I are artist brothers, man, and we have the craziest connection going back to like that. I'll tell you this, Dan. And you want to talk about, since it is Palm Sunday, right? And so many of you guys have been wishing everybody a happy Palm Sunday. Happy Palm Sunday to Dan Lawless and everybody else. I will tell you this, is that the happiest years of my childhood, which were a handful at the start, were probably like 3 years, maybe, were living in Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan. And I lived on this particular street, and when I mentioned where I lived, Dan was in the chat, and he goes, "Did you live here?" I thought he was totally punking me. I was like, "There's no way this is for real." And I said to him, I went, it turns out Dan was delivering newspapers when I was living there as a kid to my house. And that just, if you want to, and I looked at my wife, I said, "I guess I'm supposed to be in CG doing this stuff." Like, because this is literally, I have never met anybody from that neighborhood in my life, and he was a couple streets over. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy stuff. And, you know, like I said, when you put yourself in the right space with the right people, good stuff happens. I mean, I was talking to the missus the other day, and I said, because Gabe was showing us the me and Jericho, the new Double Impact intro, and that Dean Cain did. And I said, I was a kid from Chattanooga, Tennessee, in college, aspiring to be a comic book artist, and watching Lois and Clark every single week. And I loved the parents. I loved Jonathan Kent in Lois and Clark. Tremendous actor. He's in Rocketeer as well as Malcolm. I thought Dean Cain was an incredible Superman. So to have Dean Cain be able to hang out with Dean on a show, and then on top of that, have Dean, do a great intro for us going, "You're watching Double Impact with Gabe, Shanth, and Jericho Green." I said to my wife, I was like, my brain is melting. This is bizarre. There's not a lot of people that I'd say I don't even think about like that kind of stuff, because I've got some friends who are fairly successful and things like that, and I don't want to get them in any kind of bullshit, but let's just say it's I know a lot of people in the industry. I know a lot of people who do various things, and I've done quite a few things myself. However, put all that stuff aside, it's one of those beautiful things to where you go, wow, I really like this person. He's a cool person. I'm getting a chance to meet him. Can't say any fairer than that, man. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I delivered newspapers as a kid. Loved delivery. Hated collecting. Amen. Yeah, absolutely. This is such different times now. Doesn't it seem that way? How often was your paper scuffed? Our paper was always in pristine condition with beautiful illustrations on them. That's how I choose to remember it. That's my truth. Awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, take care of that diabetes before it done takes your feet. Yeah, seriously, your feet. Absolutely. Oh my Lord, it is crazy. Yeah, Dean Cain, cool. Yeah, absolutely. One of the decent ones in Hollywood. Yep, he is. He's guys, this is the thing about it. You get to a certain point, and I know all of us talk about this, but you get to a certain point, and it's like you just want to be around good people. Like, it's somebody who is, unless you're some kind of obsessed, clout chaser or status chaser, you have not got time for anybody who isn't a good person and legit. Because when you start having things, when you have a family and you have, all these obligations and things like that, there's people I want to spend time with who are family, who I care about really deeply, who are friends, and never does it have anything to do with that. And so when you meet people who are really kind, really excellent people anywhere, it just makes it all the cooler when they are successful and they are incredible in their career and profession. Like, he said the same thing about Denzel Washington. He said Denzel is one of the most incredible actors. I mean, my God, he's acted with Denzel Washington, who is one of his acting heroes. And which is, again, imagine meeting somebody that you admire as an artist and as a creator who's also a decent guy like Dean Cain, and then realizing it's like, oh my God, he's got a similar affinity for Denzel Washington, and you just go, right on, man. That was fun. It was fun to show him my Book of Eli painting, too, for that matter. Good dude. Hail Dean. And thank you for shouting out Comicsgate, too, as well. We appreciated that. It was great. Let me see here. There we go. Make sure I get that wash in there. Yeah, really good dude and a damn fine Superman. He absolutely nailed that role. The sort of earnest wholesomeness. He got that thing that I think that George Reeves did really well. I gave each newspaper a kiss before I chucked it. That's right. Hey, what is up, Hex Allen? It's good to see you, my friend. Happy Palm Sunday to you. I hope you are doing well. Yeah, absolutely one of the decent ones in Hollywood. We love Dean Cain, man. Love him around here. Love him around here. Just speaks to Dan Lawless's paper delivering skills. Exactly right. That's right. He did. Lovingly kissed it. Delivered with love. Jimmy Reyes opening on Kings should play off his gaffes combined with good idea, bad idea from the Animaniacs. Yeah, it's this is the thing, right? This is, how do I word this? The toughest thing about doing those intros is if you do something fun, or if you do something, funny, you want to make sure the person whose intro it is finds it funny too. So that it's kind of like we're like going, I love this guy. You know what I mean? So it's like getting up and giving, if you've ever been to a wedding and someone gets up to give a wedding toast and they're trying to kind of poke fun at the person, but they're not good at it, and it turns into everyone's uncomfortable and it's a roast. Ew, it's just terrible. And if they're, they go on too long and it's like, and this person's this person, this person, this person, it just sort of feels, it's got to be something specific, and it's this another art form. It's really crazy. And hail Lord Ravener, channel member. It is good to see. I love seeing that Speakeasy logo, man. I love seeing that. That's for you guys, man. Cranberry Langers. Lawless, I might have chucked them into lava or packs of wild dogs or something. Yeah, what Dan Lawless did was Dan Lawless threw the newspaper to me, and I opened it up, and in the newspaper it said, "We're going to be Comicsgate comic book artists. Find me in the future." It was wild. It was wild. Some Terminator stuff. Dan Lawless was sent back in time to deliver newspapers to me so that we could meet in the future to draw kick-ass comic books. And here we are. It literally is what happened. I probably shouldn't lie on a Sunday. Awesome one. Absolutely trying to get $1.50 out of people was a bite, let alone getting a nickel tip out of folks. Yep. Let's see here. Lord Ravener, hail. Always great to see you, my friend. There you go. American Comics Company. Cheers. Hex Allen. Yep. Jimmy Reyes intro could be a series of clips of Jimmy making jokes followed by no one else. Yeah, guys, I can't do it. I'll find it. It'll be there. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Yeah. He said, Dan Law said to me, he like rode up on his bicycle and he's like, "Come with me if you want to live." That's what it was. It happened. That's right. That's right. Saying hello to everybody. Yo, says awesome one. Thank you guys for being here. We got 20 people in the chat right now. Hit the like button if you have not hit it yet. And make sure you're subscribed and click the bell for notification. What are all the things YouTubers are supposed to say? How about this? I hope you're having a wonderful Palm Sunday. I hope each and every one of you is enjoying seeing this artwork get made. I am certainly enjoying making it for you. There are some amazing campaigns. The first one up is mine. If you've not backed Nosfero yet, I would appreciate your support. But if you've already backed Nosfero and you're looking for some new stuff to support that you haven't already, please check out some of the campaigns I show at the start of my show in the trailers that I have. And check out those links below. You won't be disappointed. The stuff that I have in there are people who are friends of mine and people who are fellow creators. And I know they would appreciate your support, and I would appreciate you supporting them. There we go. So let me see here. I'm going to get that paw a little bit more shadowy right in there. I mean, and that's the thing about this particular stage. Like, it is, I would say before I got to the point where most of the book is, not most of the book, where the book is mostly done. So the entire book is getting to that wrap-up point, not just the artwork. But before I got to this particular point, I would have been so much more nervous making some of the changes I'm making now, but now I have an entire book to look at for these characters, and I don't want to say that the creation of the next book is going to be easier, because if it's easier, I've taken my foot off the gas. I want it to be better. That's the main thing. I want to move this stuff forward, but knowing who these characters are, there is no Nosfero model sheet to look at. There is, like, anything I do with this character, if it doesn't work, it's all on me. And that was a nerve-wracking thing, I have to say. Likes, subscribed, bell rung, thank you, Cranberry Langers, and channel member. I appreciate it. Yeah. Hit it and get it. Love it, American Comics Company. I still have a book of McDonald's coupons in my drawer for a Christmas bonus from some customers. Oh my God, that's awesome. They may be expired, but they should honor them just because of that. Like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I love each and every one of you. Always true, Lord Ravener, you know. Yeah, on my Schwinn Stingray. Right on, Dan Lawless. I love it. Hop on my Schwinn if you want to live. That's what it was. Oh, I thought Shanth was going to say he caught the papers in his mouth. Yeah, that's right. Whoosh, he'd just wing them at me and I'd, jump and catch them in my mouth. That is absolutely what happened. Yeah. I probably... Oh my god. I try to remember what that was like back then. Because it was the neighborhood, because I was a little in at the time. When you live somewhere, it just feels so much bigger. Like when you're a kid, you go into an old classroom and you're like, my god, I thought these desks were higher when you're in elementary school. You go back and visit your teacher. You're like, I thought you were taller. But yeah, that's how Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan feels to me, man. It's like I look back and yeah, it takes me back, man. It's great to know somebody from there who I can talk to about the old haunts. It was fun talking about, Mr. C's and things like that. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Let me see here. All right, I think this is working. And the weather has been kind of either crazy or we haven't been able to get it in our schedule. But very, very soon, I'm going to be taking a trip and filming it. Not because it's funny. I see YouTubers I admire do stuff like this, but that's not why I do it. It's because I think it'd be fun for my audience. But I'm going to visit H.P. Lovecraft's grave and try to shoot some video with my phone and just kind of, show you guys what it's like, because I've never been. It'll be my first time going to see H.P. Lovecraft's grave, even though I only live 30 minutes away from it. So it's just never dawned on me to go and visit it. So that would be really interesting. So I'm going to try to make a video of that, because it just feels like a fitting thing to be doing. Because he was such a huge influence on Nosfero. I've never been. I'm wrapping up this book. And I just thought, you know what? Let's do this thing. Let's go do it. It'll be fun. I love doing things like that little highlight right there on the architecture. Just pops it. Chef's kiss. That's what it's about. And my wife ordered for me, and I hope it comes soon, because I'd love to have it before this book comes out. Oh my gosh, Duck Bacon, it's great to see you. Hail, Duck Bacon. And hail, chat, indeed. I had to walk no bike. Ooh, feeling it with those papers. Aha, cool. Yeah, that was in the 90s. Awesome. When were you a character? Let me just double check and sure. I found out a girl who I thought was an extremely tall teenager was actually a midget. There you go. I thought she was hot. There you go. Well, listen, love is love. Cranberry Langers. Happy birthday, Shanth. Happy birthday, KSS. It's S. It's good to see you, my friend. Almost left an S off there. Don't want to have that happen. It is great to see you, my friend. Great to see you. Hope you're doing well. And happy Palm Sunday to everybody. Happy Sunday to everybody else. And yeah, guys, thank you guys for being here. It's great to see you. I hope everybody's doing well. Working on some detailing stuff for Nosfero. At this point, it's a lot of painting. It's a lot of painting just to tighten up certain story points, and because of I do my writing in the form of word balloons, even though I trust the talented Eric Weathers to handle that. Thank God. Not just talented, hardworking, amazing, skilled. Add an adjective in there for Eric Weathers. Great, the great Eric Weathers. But I have to do things that way because I have to kind of think a little bit about contrast and placement. And one of the things that was kind of, or placement in terms of how many words I can put on each panel. And one of the things that has been really kind of interesting is it gives you thoughts on, okay, you want to drop a contrast note there, or the character's going to be talking about something, just make sure it's highlighted a little bit more right in there. And that's been a huge part of this stage of Nosfero. And this is the easiest stage ever. I feel like I might be able to come up and do some more intros for Ethan at some point, just because the neural load of doing, creating and writing and making the layouts is so much more than the rendering aspect of it. This is way easier. This part of the job is fun. Just rendering things out. The writing and illustrating at the same time, man, there's a reason why a lot of people don't do it, because it is hard work, guys. It is hard work, but we love it. There are worse jobs in this world to have. As a teacher of mine said, boy, you're going to end up shoveling shit with Dixie cups. So, always worse things out there. Hail Teflon Ron, Shigma KSSS. It's weird who we are attracted to. In the 7th grade, I had an attractive girl that chased me in school, but I was attracted to a skinny olive oil girl. What was I thinking? Listen, again, it's wild how this world goes, right? Isn't it? It's so funny. But he's saying, you're welcome. Here's an empty box of flowers. What's up, Soul Curialt 1? It is great to see you, channel member. I am so glad to have you here. thank you for being here on this fine Sunday. Wishing you all the best, my friend. Oh, listen, I had a crush on the girl who was in Life Goes On. I forget what her character's name was for some reason right now, but I had a crush on her, and I don't think anybody would say she was, conventionally attractive or anything like that. That's the biggest advice I would give people about, or I would give, my daughter or women in general is, don't try to pre-guess what guys like. Find the guy that likes you and is into you. Obviously put some effort in. I'd say the same thing to guys, but you can't understand. Guys don't all like the same kind of girl. It's not how it works. If everybody did, I don't know if the world would keep, turning or make any kind of sense. And I think a lot of times you see bad intel being peddled in some of these magazines, It's like these fashion magazines peddle some of the worst intel on men ever. It's like you just read them and you're like, what the hell are you thinking? It's like comic book fans. Comic book fans, Star Wars fans, science fiction, fantasy fans. It's not, the job is not that, it's, how do I put this? The job is hard enough without overthinking it. Don't overthink it. Period. It's that simple. Not rocket science. They say it's your birthday. We're going to have a good time. I'm glad it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Is that was it Captain Zoom? Is that what you're quoting right there, Dan Lawless? Hey, Dan, it's your birthday. Is that what you're quoting? Please tell me you aren't, because that's too creepy, man. Thank you for remembering. Because if it is, I'm really going to be freaked out by that. I had a crush on the most popular girl in school. And my lady teachers, there you go, that's it. Ellie Munoz, channel member, it's great to see you. The girl's name was Corky, and he was boy, says Ellie Munoz. You're killing me. No, his have different tastes, that's right. Girls find me attractive, and I have no idea why. That's, I'm with you there. I was the last guy to figure out a girl was interested in me. No guys have different tastes. Yeah, it's absolutely true. Yeah, we do. Absolutely right. Oh, Beatles. There you go. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah. I was just remembering that record. That'd be terrifying. That'd be terrifying if that was the case. This happy birthday nonsense is getting out of hand. Everyone is stealing my shtick. Well, listen. This is the problem with being the originator, man. This is the problem with being the originator. I don't know what to tell you. People are going to copy the innovators of this world. The Elon Musks, if you will. That's the way it is, man. That is the way it is. I love seeing waffles and bacon, Teflon Ron. Your waffles and bacon do not go unnoticed, my friend. God, I love those so much. I would love to actually go out, if we ever do a convention, it'd be so fun to go somewhere that has 24 hours breakfast and get waffles and bacon with you guys. That would be a absolute blast. Absolute blast. Just sit back, chilling, and enjoying things. Must be done. Must be done. But I know we'll get there. With all things, all in good time. All in good time. There we go. Oh, that's going to sing. Didn't see that coming. But always nice. Yeah, it's the little unexpected things that happen when you're making artwork sometimes that take your breath away. That's what makes it fun. One of the things I was talking about with my wife the other day is when people look at somebody like Frank Frazetta or Bernie Wrightson or any of these guys, I think one of the things that I would give anybody advice about, when this is true, any of you guys who are athletes or play sports or boxing or whatever it is, there's a certain element of it that's just the doing of it. But there's also this magic other ingredient that you need to have if you want to make stuff that is in that thing where people go, oh, you have a style. Oh, Shanth, I recognize your work here or there or whatever. And unfortunately, analysis never gets you to that. And an artist can never explain it to you because they don't know where it comes from. It's hard work, it's dedication, it's all that stuff. It's hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, for sure. But if somebody works as hard as you do or harder than you do and they have talent, you're not going to be able to figure that out, and they're unstoppable. And for me, if there's one thing that has kind of defined what I do, whether it was in education or whether it was in my illustration work, it's been the hard work plus the talent. It really is just putting the time in. And it's good to be around people who understand that and can relate to that, because otherwise you're just kind of trapped in a situation where it's like, how do you explain what it's like to somebody who doesn't work their tail off? I don't know how that works. And thankfully I don't have to. So, oh my gosh, look at all you fine people in the chat. Now I'm hungry. I know exactly how you feel. Thank you for thinking of, for remembering. Happy birthday to you as well, my Doge, says Sol Curialt. And see, look at all the love in the chat. Happy little mistakes. Amen. Yes, think of yourself as a trendsetter. That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I'll say this. My wife ordered me for Valentine's Day. I don't know when we're getting it because the first print run sold out. I think they moved it to April. But she ordered me the massive Frank Frazetta book. And I hope it comes before I'm finished with this book, because I think it would be great and mean to myself, but I kind of like the idea, to get a look at that book before I'm done with this one and see if there's any kind of like, come on, Shanth, raise your game inspiration that comes from it. Because I've pushed it as far as I can, but sometimes seeing somebody, a book by an amazing artist like that can just give you that extra push of going, come on, son, get it done. I mean, you never know. But some great books can really do that for me. I remember when I was working on this book and developing it, I was looking at a lot of vintage movie posters. And those vintage movie posters from the 30s and things like that, and the 20s, and the beautiful print jobs they did on like the original Frankenstein or Mummy posters, man, if you want to be inspired, go to an exhibition of those. And Metallica's lead guitarist, I think, Kirk Hammett, has a massive collection of old movie posters. He has some Frazetta originals. And so I got a chance to see those Frazetta originals and those posters. They were a huge, huge influence on this. And it was the first time I'd ever seen Frazetta that he had done an acrylic piece, because Frazetta worked in acrylic from time to time. Not a lot, but he did. And obviously gouache. And I saw that stuff and I went, oh man, this makes me think about how I should approach my stuff and how I could, take some things on. That's why this comic has to be fully painted. You can't do this stuff in digital. You just can't. I mean, it's having seen those originals, and I'm not a anti-digital person at all, but there's things traditional can do. Oh, thank you. Back Nosfero by the great, much love KSSS, and happy birthday, Shanth Enjeti. You're a good man. Let's see here. Or I haven't asked. And we accept all kinds here. The conceptual Final Fantasy artist drew anything that came to mind. Yes, is that Amano? Is that who it was? Yoshitaka Amano? Let me know if I'm correct. I'm not worrying about the result. He created thousands of characters. Yeah, Amano's a beast, if that's who you're talking about. That guy is sick. He does great stuff. Let's see here. I find all sorts of women attractive, myself included. I do as well. But sometimes I find beautiful women are ugly. That's when I realize femininity and kindness. Ah, yes. You've absolutely crushed it, my friend. You're absolutely right. That's when I realize femininity and kindness are what attracts me. 100%. Let's see here. I want some scrambled eggs, hash browns, sausage, and orange juice. Okay, you're killing me now, Cranberry Langers. You're killing me, and right on. Amen. Hey, what's up, Hostman Socrates? A channel member, Hostman Socrates. At Shanth Enjeti Art, I find that overweight girl who was on the Sports Illustrated cover that Jordan Peterson criticized. I find that overweight girl who was on the Sports Illustrated cover that Jordan Peterson criticized, but that's just me. Doesn't mean she's objectively beautiful. Hey, listen, I'm with you, man. I like I like all kinds, man. That book is ginormous. It's a tome. I've seen people flip through it, and it looks like it is massive. Massive. I had an omelet. Ooh, very nice. I'm actually kidding. When I see Malin playing happy birthday videos on, or Shelby spending more than an hour to play happy birthday, I smile, tell myself, I did this, and I'm a little proud. I love it, KSSS. You should be. Yes, Yoshitaka Amano drew the first Final Fantasy promotional material. That stuff blew my mind. That stuff is beautiful. Yoshitaka Amano, the Final Fantasy concept artist, is one of my faves and helped me feel all right in the way I always had a messy look in my pencil style. And his biggest influence is Arthur Rackham. If you like his stuff, you'll love Arthur Rackham's illustrations. That's what he's big influenced by. I like internally attractive ladies, but they do have to be attractive to me as well. Yeah, me too. Oh, Yoshitaka. Gotcha. Yoshitaka Amano. Hostman Socrates says, Shanth Enjeti Art. Yes, Frank Frazetta's book. Where? Yes, it is. Taschen just released a massive book. And check it out, Taschen. Taschen. Oh my goodness, a super chat for $5 from Michael Deach. Thank you, sir. It is great to see you. Happy Sunday. From Michael Leach, enjoy the streams. Thanks. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. You legend. I'm, of course, going to have to send some cheerleaders your way. So here you go, my friend. And thank you. First super chat of the day. And thank you so much for it. Charge! There you go, kind sir. Much love. And so, yeah, I mean, Amano, I have the, I don't know if any of you guys have seen, I'm assuming you have, but I have I think it's a 3-book set of Amano's Final Fantasy artwork over there on the floor. Again, he's another artist whose work hasn't influenced me. And I mean this is a compliment. It's incredible. The way he works, I just go, that is nuts. Like, I love his sort of playful style. I'm much more influenced by somebody like Frank Frazetta or Alphonse Mucha, because even though Frazetta's stuff looks really powerful, he painted with a very kind of delicate hand when he did that stuff, which is always kind of shocking. A friend of mine who's an oil painter and has worked in the science fiction illustration industry, and is actually really good friends with Mike Kaluta, he was talking to me about seeing Frazetta's originals for the first time, and he was shocked by, one, how small they were, but also how delicately they seemed to be painted. He was like going, man, this guy really, like, the brush strokes on there aren't these crazy powerful brush strokes. I mean, he was really, like, you see this in his watercolor stuff, but he was really, he had a delicacy to the stuff that he did. And I like that. I like that kind of delicacy with it being playful and not overly precise. The first Frazetta work that really inspired me and drew me to his work, funny enough, was his watercolors. And this collection that I think it was Kitchen Sink put out, but I could be wrong, called The Pillow Book. And it was just a bunch of watercolor things he did for Ellie, because I had no idea I was going to be able to paint and do this kind of stuff, certainly as a book. I like humor, wit, and a little anger. That's right, a little fire is always good. Confident, yes, indeed. Absolutely. Confidently, yeah. Sarcasm, I got you. I had French toast. Ooh, well played, Toastman Socrates. Very good. Yeah, confidence is key. Yes, no doubt. A little anger. I love it. Yeah, you gotta love it. Yes, Cranberry Langers, I bow to you. They have to be able to fight me. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Bow, Michael Deach. Indeed. Thank you so much. Da-da-da, charge. I know, I love that video, man. I loved making that video for you guys. And that was a frame-by-frame animation to put the Liberty onto that GIF and then clean it up, and then I changed the color of I didn't change the color of the costume on that one. But I did a lot of cleanup on that one to make it work, and then compositing it frame by frame. Happy birthday, American Comics Company. We've got a link to, is it Cerebrus? I think it is. It's not Sarah, God, I can never remember how to pronounce this, but back in our walls, Cerberus, that's what it is, Cerberus. And there's the link right there to his Indiegogo. Please do back it. Narwhal is my Nosfero bro. Much love to him. I'm influenced by pizza, so am I. Absolutely. Streamers! Yes, indeed. Oh, I remember adding the fireworks, all of that stuff. It was so fun. Gotta pack in the detail. You absolutely do. Yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah, putting detail... Oh, there you go. Cerberus. Thank you, Lord Ravener. Seriously. Lord Ravener is my speech therapist. God bless him. Let me see. Oop, just missed that. Is Shanth Enjeti's Waffle House done because you're eating healthier? No. It is not because I'm eating healthier, and it may very well return. It was, I got to a point to where I started thinking, I don't know, how do I word this? I don't know how many people are going to be completely confused of what I'm selling that are new to this. So it's lore right now, but it could very well come back because that's, and also, I haven't really, I took a song and edited it down that was an old Waffle House theme song. I started thinking, what if I started getting copyright claims on all this stuff, and I was like, I gotta try to build my own stuff. But no, I love waffles. I love Waffle House. You can always put waffles in the chat. I will never... and I may do some waffle-related stuff on this channel for sure. Like, I have a picture of the Speakeasy where it's orange juice with pulp, obviously, as Phil and I always joke. 100% pulp or extra pulp. And then on the counter of this Speakeasy is waffles, because I love them. Yeah. Slap my nuts and call me a Jawa. I'm going to have to save up for that Frazetta book. Yes, indeedy. Yeah. What is up, Snuggy Jr. with the beard? I'm loving it. It is great to see you in the house, Snuggy. Much love. How goes fulfillment? I know it's got to be a monster, man. I know everybody's excited, but I know the project is dynamite. The stuff that you guys have shown us are incredible. Hail Snuggy Jr., a legend and gentleman in Comicsgate. Cerberus, there you go. Cerberus says awesome one. Yeah, Cerberus, by the Madman Narwhal. Indeed, my Nosfero bro. Much love, man. Yeah, happy birthday, Snuggy Jr. Hey, Snuggy Jr. Hail, Snuggy Jr. Lots of love. American Comics Company, same to you, my friend. Thanks for remembering KSSS. I'm confused. I'm always confused. That's understandable. That's absolutely right. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Lots of liberty in the house. Indeed, indeed. I love seeing that. When I made that, those icons, I was very happy. You will never see liberty not on this channel, that's for sure, as the icon. I tried to make, you want to hear some interesting stuff, as opposed to everything else I've been saying. Shanth Enjeti Art, I'm going on an internet detox for Easter week. Very good. So I'll be back the day after Easter. My friend, much love and good work on that. I'm sure that will be really good for you. And fantastic. I love hearing you guys doing that stuff. Want a Fanta? Indeed. But this is the thing. God, the chat is jumping. Hail and bow, hail and bow. Laugh out loud, the beard. Yeah, you gotta love the beard, right? Fear the beard or love the beard? I say love it. I love pulpy orange juice. I want to chew my orange juice. Amen. I got an extreme pulp, and it was just filled with oranges. Fulfillment of tiers, not including metal bookmarks, is done. Excellent. Congratulations, Snuggy, my friend. God bless you. That's awesome. Always great to see you, man. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Everybody's saying hello. Snuggy, a rock star, comes in. People go nuts. People go nuts. And now I forgot what the hell I was going to say, because I was just thinking something. Let me see if I can come up with it. We're talking about comics. We're talking about fulfillment. Where is everything? Let me see if I can find it. The beard, Shanth Enjeti detox. Let me see. Thanks for remembering. Hail. Waffles, elbow cough. Get that Frank Frazetta book. Eating healthier. Damn, I can't think of what it was, but I will see what I can come up with. It was funny seeing Bancroft next to a tower of fulfillment of Narwhal on Narwhal stream. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my goodness. It is a lot. It is a lot. Yeah, everybody is saying hello, hello, hello. But no, I mean, this is the thing for me anyway that is so interesting about, you know, working on all of this stuff and putting the detail together and you know, working in our space, is that we're not just illustrators, we're not just artists, we're not just writers. That stuff is is a part of what we do, but it is the most basic sense of what we do. It's the promotion, it's the streams, it's the building the channels, it's all of that stuff that is a part of what we do. And I think that all of us have had to kind of get up to speed on that stuff. Like when I was talking to Jericho has a massive audience for his channel, massive audience. And he just does incredible work and incredible content. And one of the fun things for me about that has really been being able to help him on the art end. Gabe and I both have done stuff for him. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you guys. It finally, oh my God, right as I guess super chat. I'm going to get right to that super chat, Teflon Ron. Hang on one second. But I had to share this with you. So if you want to know how ridiculous this stuff gets, I tried to sell that Liberty t-shirt, that Liberty logo I have on a t-shirt on Redbubble, and I posted it on Twitter and hashtagged Comicsgate. And before even a day had passed, Redbubble has this policy to where they can take down your work for any reason and not mention like why they took it down. And my t-shirts were like snapped off of that site. My whole account was shut down. Like I can't post anything on Redbubble. So that's the stuff we're up against. That's the stuff we're up against when we try to do things. My whole Redbubble account, like it was just gone. And I was like, I didn't even do anything. I just launched this thing. I think I know what happened. Ridiculous. So let me get to Teflon Ron super chat. Thank you, Teflon Ron. I appreciate it so much. Super chat, $2 from Teflon Ron for the waffles and bacon. My man, my brother, these girls, or this girl, is for you. Charge! Yeah, and thank you so much for the super chat, Teflon Ron. I always appreciate it, you legend. Yeah, that was good. I laughed out loud. Shanth, just filled with oranges. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Waffles. That's right. That's what you aim for, Salt Curialt. That's absolutely right. Straight up. Hello, dropping by. Thank you so much, Meltdown14. I appreciate it. Thank you for leaving a like. Glad I don't use Redbubble. You ain't kidding. Oh my gosh. Super chat, $5 from Lord Ravener. Snugs was 100% serious about every aspect of the Magnet campaign, plus bookmarks and stickers. A+. Let me tell you something, guys. Every now and again, I see artwork of mine reproduced. For example, you guys know this one well, the Cyber Frog trading card art. I really love this painting. I worked my tail off on it. I worked Salamandroid's tail off on it. And I was so proud of how this came out. I have to say that my second favorite thing I have seen in print at this point, and I'm hopefully not offending someone who's printed my stuff before. I like everything that's been printed, by the way, was seeing the metal bookmark of Rob's characters from the Replicator on the bookmark campaign. Snuggy, you guys crushed that. It is beautiful. I cannot wait to get it. I cannot wait to get it, my friend. So thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me to participate on that. Snuggy, and I think Lord Ravener was there as well, and anyone else in the chat who was there, but it was a little bit of a blur. Aldous, I know, was there, and of course, Jeremy. I hope that was the quickest negotiation you've ever seen for getting me to participate in something. They were like, we want to know if you want to contribute artwork for a bookmark. And I was like, yeah. Of course, guys. It was too funny, man. Love you guys. Happy birthday, Sean. Thank you so much, Duck Bacon. Happy birthday to you, my friend. Let's see. That's crazy. Why? You know why. Because it was on Twitter, #Comicsgate, and I guarantee you some freaking psycho decided to go over there and do... I'm not trying... How do I word this? I cannot think of another reason why, because I own the copyright to that. It's artwork I created myself. It doesn't reference anything else. Or it could have been somebody seeing just the word liberty who's afraid of that and thought it was some political thing they needed to step on. Ridiculous. But there's a lot of different ways. I try not to ever go down that rabbit hole. I just try to find a way to do it. You know what I mean? And just get things done. A lot of third world individuals claim stuff as their own, especially on YouTube. Agreed. I see it happen all the time. Teflon Ron, cheers, old chap. Indeed. Look at that love. Redbubble sounds communist. Yeah, well, you know, possibly. From your lips to God's ears, indeed. Lord Ravener, I love it, I love it, I love it. Let me see here. Snuggy Jr., yes, indeed. Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. Yes, indeed, guys. You guys are the best. Yeah, the card looks great. Oh, thank you, Cranberry Langers. I appreciate it. I really love that art. Actually, I think Comic Book One owns the original now. The Snuggy campaign, the Snuggy cosplay outfit, that's absolutely right. Damn, I'm sorry. I missed the bookmark versus stickers and Groken. Oh my gosh, it happens. Groken's beautiful, by the way. Oh, thanks for all the help promoting it, Lord Ravener. Look at that. Lord Ravener is out there promoting it because he knows, man, because people love you, Snuggy. That's the way it is. Thanks for remembering. Thanks for remembering. Let me see here. Where are we? God, I'm so far behind. Since the last time I found some more random canvas and began... Oh, another painting! Excellent, Meltdown 14. Been working on it the past few days, but today is a rest day. Indeed, it is. Celebrates 4 months of membership. My gosh, Cranberry Langer celebrating 4 months as a member. I love it. Any channels you're planning on visiting once your printing is finished? I will visit pretty much anyone that will have me at that point. You know what I mean? Once the printing is done, or once it's at the printer, actually, once the printing's finished, I'll definitely want to show it around too. But when it's at the printer, I'm going to be so happy. When it's out of my hands and I'm just waiting for that proof, I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Redbubble sounds like, yeah, communists, you're absolutely right. Their economics fail. Indeed. Hail Meltdown. How can we get that card? You'll have to ask Ethan about that. It was a Patreon exclusive, and now he's on another platform. What is it? What's the other thing Ethan's on? People help me. God help me. God, please help me. My mind is pudding. I know the name of it, and it's killing me right now. But it was an exclusive for either channel members. I'm both, or I was both. I was a Patreon member when he was still on Patreon. And it was an exclusive, and yeah, he hired me to do it, and that's how it went out. I don't know if he's going to use it for anything else, if he's ever going to do like a collecting artwork for Cyberfrog, so I'm not sure. But it's one of the best things I've ever done. Yeah, that's right. McCarthy was right. I can't. It's just nuts. Arresting. Yes. Yeah, I know. It's absolutely barking mad, but that's how it is. Liberty indeed. Yeah. Flaming nutcases in social media. Amen. Rise of the Antichrist. You know. And the Shanth Enjeti art Rob bookmark has been a huge... I'm so glad to hear that. Snuggy, again, thank you. For, inviting me and to be a part of that. That was fun. There may be a second chance at some point. Excellent. Yeah, because, seriously, man, use that stuff to build up what you're doing. That's why it was done the way it was done. It was given with love and support for all the stuff you guys do. We appreciate it. That's right. Subscribe star. Thank you, KSSS. Subscribestar, which a lot of people have talked about Subscribestar as being the best, alternative for that outside of building your own website. And I know that a lot of us are working on that. I know Gabe is actually working on some stuff so that we can be out from under the thumb of these people, but you're absolutely right. Thank you guys for that. Hey, Mrs. Good Stuff, how are you doing? Hey, all. My new Shanth bookmark is one of my most prized new possessions. I love it. That's so great to hear, Mrs. Good Stuff. Oh, that makes me smile. Whenever I do a project for somebody, whether it's the Beckoned RECOURSE cover, I hope people go and back that book, I always want it to do well for the people that hire me. When someone commissions me to do a portrait of their loved one, I always want them to look at it and go, that's them. You've captured them. And when I do a book, I want every single page of this book to be something that feels inspiring, artistic, beautiful, and creative, and it just inspires people to just say, oh my gosh, I love artwork, I love what's happening here. And that's why I put so much care into every single one of these pages. That is why there is so much attention to detail. And it starts with, the first page of the book, and it goes all the way through the entire book. It's because Nosfero, this is the birth of Nosfero, the supernatural hero, and it's going to be something that you are glad to have in your collection, that you're going to be glad that you backed, and it's only going to expand from here. But you aren't going to have to understand the full story of this book. You are not going to have to wait for a sequel for it, which was deliberate because I know painted comic books were going to take a while. But so you will get a complete story every single book so that you can put this on the shelf and you can say, all right, I can read that story from start to finish. I can see a lot of character development. It's there's a lot of plot in it, and it's almost a literarily dense with art. Like the art is got that literary level of density. And it's great to see you. And thank you so much for the kind words about the bookmark. And hail Snuggie Jr. Crenshaw FAO, eBay. There you go, indeed. Well, I've heard rumors. I remember, it's like, I don't want to throw shade at Ethan, but when I found him on Grindr... Oh, wait. Why was I on? No. Let's see here. Shanth Enjeti Art, I'm sure you could twist that Bogan Bancroft's arm and let you on his channel. Of course. All it takes with him is promoting a comic. Well, I will tell you this, too. Crowdfunder... No. It's... I'm not sure what that's in response to, but I'll have to pause on that. Let me know. Give me more information. But, no, I was thinking about asking Ethan about closing out Nosfero on his channel when I close out In Demand. And then I also was thinking I really need to do something when I close this campaign with Michael Bancroft. Because Michael's channel is where I launched it, and if he's game for it, if that's something he wants to do. Because I did not know Michael at all, and when he... I can't even describe this to you. I took a leap of faith out of a big leap of faith, which feels fitting on Palm Sunday to say that. It feels fitting almost every day, to be honest. But to come into this space and to try to launch a book, and I left a full-time position that I had spent my life working to get, master's degrees, all of that sort of stuff, and I left it with a lot of heartbreak of what was happening. And there are many things that just felt like you're being helped by hidden hands. This is going to be okay. You can do this. And Michael's, friendship and support and and me just basically meeting him and him saying, you want to launch it on my channel and completely screw it up? I apologize, Michael. I did not mean to screw it up. Was a big thing for me. And he's the man. Always have much love for that guy. Hi, American Comics Company. Yes, indeed. Hail, Mrs. Good Stuff. Everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. Lots of love. Hi, Cranberry Langers. Happy birthday. Hey, KSS. I love seeing you guys greet each other. It's so great. Cheers, Mrs. Good Stuff. Waffle Star. That's mine. I'm there. I'm totally there. Shanth Enjeti Art, Shadiversity, and Uncle E are on Subscribestar. There you go. Yes. I gotta get up. Yeah. Boobus. You bet. That's what we sell here. Hey, Snuggie Jr. Oh my gosh. Yes, Beckoned RECOURSE. Absolutely, guys. Check it out by Zade Studios, Z-A-D-E. Thank you for remembering this good stuff. It's beautiful. I'm addicted to good art. So am I. I love this stuff. Can't wait to get Nosfero, Snuggie. I cannot wait for you to get it, my brother. I cannot wait. Lady being eaten by a snake. There are some very dark jokes. Yes, I know. And believe me, Stephen Rockwood's made them. Nosfero for life. Absolutely right. When's the Nosfero waifu pillow coming? Soon. Really eager to have that art book in my hands. I want to see those glossy pages. Yeah, listen. The art books, the coolest thing to me about all of this, just, you got to imagine, me being basically, spiritually destroyed by what was going on with Star Wars, and then finding Ethan, and then thinking about publishing art books. But guys, I mean, the quality of these books, 8.5 by 11, like, this is a reproduction of the artwork. This looks as good as the original, only and this is a life-sized, because I did this in my art book. I have half of the spread of a 2-page spread, because there's 20 paintings in each book. This is going to be, Nosfero's going to have 33 painted pages with tons of paintings in it. But it tells you what media it's in, and it's a 100% reproduction of the work. So it's just to 1-to-1 scale. And then the whole painting is on the opposite page. And so in this book, you've got like a close-up right there for the Headless Horseman piece, and then you've got the full painting over here, because I was obsessed with Headless Horseman. With Thulustein, which is another one of my paintings, which, again, when Nosfero had... The idea, I didn't even have the name Nosfero yet, but when that character... I started to think about it, had guns and was much more the shadow or phantom type. Let me see if I can get that lighting right. That's what I was doing there. But yeah, these pages, there's a Deontay Wilder inspired vampire hunter character I did, because and there's a Twins of Evil portrait. So God, guys, I love, and thank God for the opportunity to self-publish and to make this Iron Age stuff happen, guys. I think that I know that what I'm doing, art-wise, is very high-end and is not something you see a lot of independent creators doing. Not a lot of people, can put, and granted, I say that with many of the artists I'm around here in CG, but I know what my lane is and what I'm bringing to what I do. And to have the means to be able to print fully painted stuff means, to me anyway, that's what I need to bring to the table, because I need people to... while we're all independent, and I heard Ethan talking to Eric July about this, and it was, I love when he reiterates, as we often do, that we are independent, that we're doing our own things in this way, but we're also together in the fact of what we're trying to do with culture and move it out of this dark age. And for me, I feel like part of what I do here when I came into here is I've got to bring what I bring to this equation, which is, I've got a fan base that are fans of my paintings, and I need to bring my, a fully painted comic book to life. And that is a hell of a task, to put in front of yourself. But no cowards, right? No cowards, as the coach would say, and as I love to say, and hard work and dedication, as Floyd Mayweather would say, and I always like to say. That's what it comes down to. So I wanted this book to be something people would look at and go, holy hell, like they do with Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein or Dave Stevens' The Rocketeer. I wanted it to be something beautiful. Those works that inspired the hell out of me. Oh my gosh, we got some new people in the chat too that I missed, so I gotta have to jump ahead to say hello. The Bancroft is a good dude indeed. Unless he sees this, then pretend I said so. Of course I will. I got you covered. Admit it, you're lonely, says Pastmaster Dan. I don't know if that's to me, but maybe. You never know. But we're always lonely when you're not here, Pastmaster Dan. Snake, in quotes. That's right. I am lonely, though. That's why I paint snakes. Wait a minute. That reminds me of a funny movie I saw the other night with Adam Sandler. My wife and I did what every couple does when they get time together. We watched Adam Sandler movies. Ethan will definitely let you close out on his channel. You could do both Bancroft and EVS on the same day. Make it all an all-day closeout. I may very well do that. That sounds like a great idea, Teflon Ron. Thanks for the stream, Shanth. Off to do lame but necessary chores and errands. My friend, thank you for being here, Crenshaw, FAO. I appreciate it. And it's all important, and your presence is appreciated. Thank you, sir. Let me see here. Hello. Happy birthday, my Doge. Hey, Snuggy Jr. Hail, Pastmaster Dan. Now I want to see Pastmaster Dan. The problem is because we've been talking about Pasta Mania so much. Now I'm like, Pastmaster Dan, I'm telling you, pasta, I'm not going to make it out of these carbs. Moon Key, indeed. Thank you. Eek! Big old bat boy. Yep, Oh, yeah. Bats. Let me say this. I don't know how many of you have had a close encounter with a bat. Always surprising. always a surprise to have a close encounter with a bat. My goodness. Laugh out loud. Didn't realize I was 5 minutes behind. That's right. Cranberry Langers. Hey, there's my brother. Vaughn's Haunted Castle. It is great to see you, man. Pulp lives. It does, brother. It does. And we're living proof, man. It's great to see you, brother. I am so excited for your book, dude. I cannot wait. Man, that looks great. Thank you so much. Hail, my friend Slingy Jr. Hey, a piggy. I'm so far behind. Happy birthday to you as well. Salutations, my friend. Nosfero. Thank you so much, awesome one. Long live the Iron Age and the revival of Pulp. Amen. Truffles to all. Much love, brother. When I hit the jackpot and have billions, I'm hiring Shanth to paint one of my rooms to look like a scene from Nosfero. Absolutely will do it. Morgan Freeman will narrate everything Shanth paints. And of course, now Shanth begins to paint the corner. Why? He does not know. It's very true. That's right. Much love. Let's see here. Yes, indeed. Vaughn's Haunted Castle. Everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. Let's see. Hail to the Vonster. Looking forward to Terror in the Trenches. It's going to be sweet, guys. I'm actually really excited because I ordered the add-on of Monster MD because Vaughn was kind enough when I was working on a project to send me the PDF, and I was like, I have to own this so I can put it in my bookshelf. Vaughn always delivering quality there. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Terror in the Trenches and the second chance of a copy of Monster MD. Indeed. A digital artist colony. Indeed it is, Michael Deach. I couldn't say it any better. Excellent, Michael Deach. Yeah, excellent. How's that animation going at Vaughn's Haunted Castle? Oh, very cool. I want to know that too. That's right. Indeed. Let's see here. I miss you too. See? Look at that. We all miss you. Call me. There's love everywhere. Back King Cryptid by Pete Sametti, my man. From the Northeast, just like myself. Also, we have names that end in Eddie. And I was on Pete Sametti's channel when we crossed it was the Monday after the weekend of the launch. We crossed our funding goal on his channel. I was $5 short, and Pete kept me on the channel. Like I came in for a 1-minute pitch when he was doing that open mic thing. And he's like, you're staying here till somebody backs it till we get that $5. So yes, please support Pete Sametti. Adam Sandler movies, anger management. There you go. Hey, Cranberry Langer, send me a pizza, Shanth. I would love to. Shanth Enjeti art, bats fly like they're drunk. Yes, they do. And in India, they can be in giant fruit trees, and you can back into one. And those fruit bats are large, friends. They'll change your life. You guys know if you've had a bad experience. I don't mean a bad experience. I mean a bat experience. Ciao, Crenshaw FAO. Indeed. Much love. Aloha, Hostman Socrates. Pete Sametti said King Cryptid's going to start fulfilling super soon. Excellent. Pete's been in the game for a long time. He was indie before indie was indie, if that makes sense. Shanth can paint my bathroom floor because I'm on the toilet so much watching these streams. Absolutely. Hey, listen, I will paint a bathroom floor. I ain't too proud to beg. Let's see here. Hail Vaughn's Haunted Castle. Shanth's friend Vaughn's Haunted Castle. There you go. Let's see. Yes, KSSS can have AI Morgan Freeman narrating you. That's right. I won't use it to make fun of Sam Smith. That's terrifying. Pete Sametti. That's indeed. That's right. We love it. We love it all. But it's a crazy thing because, when I think about Louise Simonson's work for Warren Publishing and all of those incredible artists who were over at Warren Publishing who then came over into the mainstream post-Warren Publishing, I always think of that they left a legacy of art because they were an indie that punched above its weight class. And Nosfero is a book to where the only way it could exist is if what I'm able to do technically was in a person. Like it's so it's so completely rare. You have to have somebody who's Comicsgate, somebody who's indie, somebody who is going to walk away from a job and dedicate their time to making a fully painted comic book. Like it's a very rare thing, and everybody in Comicsgate has a similar story, or has a different story, I should say. Not a similar story. That's what makes it fun. But that was my story, and that is my story as I work on this book. And I had no idea to what degree I was going to find an audience for this book. And I'm the kind of person who, if you guys know me, that's why I do all those intros, obviously, that I've done and do videos for my friends like Jericho and everybody else. I actually really root for other people. Like, if somebody is hardworking and kind and you know, just carries on and does what they do, and they're not about trying to hurt people or do whatever else, I wish them the best. And so believe me when I tell you that I am very appreciative when people root for my success, and I'm always rooting for my friends to succeed and do well. It's one of the great joys of life. I mean, and it's something that just probably it's something that probably attracted me to the whole teaching thing, which was wanting to help people. And that's one of my favorite things in the world, really, is helping people. And it's like, you know, and in a lot of ways, I think Nosfero is me taking some time to kind of put the spotlight on my own work and focus on my own channel and do this stuff, because I want to be able to get these ideas out, and I want to build something with you guys, and you guys have made it possible. Malin bats, that's absolutely right. Black bats indeed. Mama Longbone is a master comedian. You guys are killing me. Yee! Yee! Shanth says an Indian fruit bat. Yeah, it is. No, they were like, Ee, my God, what are you doing in my tree? That's what they said. I like pineapple. You can like pineapple here. We're not here to judge. If you like pineapple pizza, it happens. I mean, Jericho will judge, but that's just me. My CG story is that I was persecuted by Shane because of my super chats. I've seen it happen. You know, hashtag all Shanes. I usually eat more pizza, eat more pineapple off the pizza. There you go. I like pineapple, like, on its own as a fruit, man. Sometimes that, my favorite fruit in the world, because when I would go to India, my grandfather would get them for me, and I loved it, is pomegranate, you know? The Indian apple. It's delicious. I love pomegranates. Like, I could just... Tearing open a pomegranate, though, the juice is so red and it stains frickin' everything. I swear it looks like a crime scene after you've eaten one. You know, that's why I always say eat them at a crime scene. That's my theory on it. This is not legal advice, by the way. Just to be clear. This is not legal advice. Shanth Enjeti Art is the website for Truth, Justice, American Way. Is the website? No, and but he did announce it, I think, last stream. I think he did. It's going to be Beef Law is going to be the name of the website, because it's going to be what he builds. He builds and launches Beef Law on, and then he's got some other stuff as well coming down the pike, which is stuff that nobody knows about except for a handful of people. Jericho and myself, fortunate enough to hear about them. But yeah, Gabe has been really proactive. In addition to the work that he does with Eric July on ISOM and all that stuff, you know, a lot of us have gotten much more proactive about thinking about our own sites, because, you know, once people back our books and we get the money distributed to us so that we can put it towards the creation of these books, you know, Indiegogo has taken their cut out of it. And if they're going to hide campaigns, and if they're not, you know, again, it's the same thing I ran into with Redbubble, I think, where I'm trying to show something that I created and that I own the rights to, and with no explanation, they took down my shop. There was nothing on there I was aware of, you know, being a problem. And I just thought, my God, you know, this is so irritating, because I want to make money on your site, and I just think that once you start seeing that stuff, you can't unsee it. It's really difficult to... I'm going to do something I don't think I've ever really done a lot of on stream, by the way, right now, which is I'm going to use my ruler. So I'm going to show you guys the kind of the other parts of this process of painting. But it's so frustrating what we have to do in Comicsgate and in the Iron Age in general. We have to basically make our own platforms, our own spaces, because people just don't let us just make our work. And it's a tremendous amount of pressure. Anybody who steps into this space knows what I'm talking about, because not only are you on your own, but you've also, you know, you've got weirdos coming after you. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. And you're just, it's like, some days you're just sort of like, can you take a day off? Because I've got a lot of plates spinning here, you know, these people. But some people have it worse than I do. I think Ethan said it really well on Eric July's stream, where he was like, thank you for drawing their fire. You've drawn like 70% of these crazy maniacs' fire. And I know exactly what he's talking about, because Ethan's been like a human shield. Yeah, Earth is stationary, agreed. Time doesn't exist without a rotation around the sun. I know, I've watched Star Trek, people. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Shanth Enjeti Art has doing work on James Lee's Shanth Enjeti Art. He's doing work on James Lee's The Steins as well. Wait, who are we talking about? Is it? Oh, Gabe. Yes, Gabe is doing work on it, and I know also someone else who's CG in addition to James Lee is doing work on the Steins. Is it Jimmy? Is Jimmy doing work on the Steins? I know Gabe has, but there's someone else as well who's doing work on it that's Comicsgate. So I'm just trying to think offhand. Crack me up. Yeah, need to create new crowdfunding sites. You eat the red flesh around the seeds. Yes, that's right. There you go. Teflon Ron. Yes, and it's delicious. Flirters in the chat. Is that right? It happens. There's love. That's a long day. Flurf. There you have it. Trademark 2023. See, you can't be fast enough. You have to copyright it and trademark it immediately. Agreed, time doesn't exist. Weirdos paging fake Irishman and Dinky Dang. Yes, exactly. Okay. But this is the thing about it, right? Is that I watched them, them talking about it, and people don't believe this stuff is real until it kind of comes into their space where you go, I'm trying to do something that would benefit you and all of us. Like, again, I really do believe that the pie is not fixed, to quote Eric July, and that a rising tide lifts all boats. When the comic book industry was doing well, you have the same group of people complaining. Sometimes they're complaining even more because they're jealous of other people's successes. And there really isn't any reason, if you are a creator, to spend excessive time attacking somebody else or throwing shade at somebody else unless you're jealous of whatever success you imagine them having that you think you deserve. Or, I don't know what. Like, I mean, I just don't understand it. And so when you see the level of interest, negative interest people take in somebody, whether it's Eric July, and I know I've experienced my bit, not to that degree, but I've definitely experienced my bit. You just kind of go, okay, there's something off there. But it's not something that I would encourage anybody to do because it just, one, people are going to remember it, and two, it just looks terrible. Again, so many of these people who've attacked Comicsgate, where are the people who were going to take care of them and who are applauding them for doing so? They're not taking care of them financially. They're not helping them. It's ridiculous. Yeah, they see you as attacking the world they're trying to create. That's 100% what it is. 100%. No, not in this case. No, I haven't had that problem yet. Actually, it's funny. So many of those people just aren't even. I mean, I assume they could, but I missed all of that. I really missed all of that. It's crazy. Like, I mean, I remember this stuff, like, but I remember different stuff. Like, I know that was a thing, and I don't know the whole lengthy story behind it. I've heard people tell it to me before, but I just don't. I'm like, I don't understand this. But yeah, I mean, they've got way more. Ethan and those cats have got way more insanity after them. That's for sure. There we go. This is going to be freaking stunning. Guys, this is the thing, too. You guys are seeing this closer than anybody's going to really, is going to see it outside of myself with the artwork. But when these pages get reduced, holy cow, is this going to be beautiful. This book is going to be so beautiful. And this is the crazy thing. And I think you're about to talk about it, KSS. That's true. People, i.e. normies, don't believe this stuff is true. Here's the other funny thing. The normies that are the vast amount of our audience outside of Comicsgate, our future audience potential, don't care what these people are saying. The only thing they're doing is alienating us. Shanth Enjeti Art, I've been banned from fake Irishman's channel. It happens. He's definitely jealous of Ripa. I hear you. Upper Echelon created an AI bot with AI art to attract AI bots. There are millions of them. Crazy. Yeah, exactly. Right. That's true. People, i.e. normies, don't believe this stuff is true. At least they didn't seem to between 2017 and 2020. But more and more they're coming around. They absolutely are. You know who's been great for this? There's two people who've been great for this. One of them, and funny enough, they've worked together in the last decade. One of them is Johnny Depp, and the other one is J.K. Rowling. Both of them have been big for people realizing this. Because most people weren't watching Mandalorian. There were a lot of Star Wars fans who were. It was a big hit for a Star Wars show and for a Disney Plus show, but way more people were watching Stranger Things. By a lot. So it's when they canceled somebody like J.K. Rowling and they Me Too'd Johnny Depp, that people were like, hold on a second. I know Johnny Depp. I don't think you're right about him. People went after J.K. Rowling. The problem with companies like Disney and places like that is they're trading on other people's goodwill for the benefit of the doubt, but they are eroding that at a rapid pace. Johnny Depp was trading on his own goodwill, and even the entire industry could not really successfully destroy him. But by God, they've not helped him by any stretch. And J.K. Rowling is weathering things well, but I'm glad she's resorted to suing people. Because when people, look, talking about people like J.K. Rowling and accusing them of atrocious things, even Eric July said that. He was like going about a particular person. He goes, if you're going to accuse me of doing something absolutely despicable online, you're going to get a call, like from a lawyer or something. I don't know if he said that in particular. J.K. Rowling said that, but he said, but if I see you in person, I'm going to come up to you and I'm going to talk to you about it. Not in some violent bullshit way, but it's like, I don't get this. I don't get what drives a person to wake up in the morning and try to destroy another person. Well, let me rephrase that. I do know what does, and it's called mental illness. I don't understand that, guys. I don't understand it. Simply Green, it's great to see you. We just had the Posey Parker, oh my gosh, news blurred it. Had to show my folks it was okay. Hand sign for sipping a jacket. Yes, that's right. Damn, Steins is only 28% funded. Are you serious? Can someone drop a link? Please, somebody drop a link. Deception shall increase, indeed. Let me see here. Lawsuits are needed. Yeah, J.K. Rowling, if she's got the money, she should make somebody's life unpleasant if they're going to do that. That's ridiculous. Even they thought it was nuts. Yes, they did. Psychological warfare. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Like, Jericho and I were and Gabe always talk about this kind of stuff. But as great as it is to go on defense and to quote unquote, fight back against this stuff, at the end of the day, if we are not making an alternative and that alternative is not getting backed, they're still winning. Because if someone is trying to, sink a boat that you're on and you can't plug up the boat faster than they can drill holes, you have to build another boat, and that takes time. And all of us are building our own boats for this. Shanth Enjeti art is me. And I'm going to hire Eric Weathers to do the lettering, but I'm the person. It's a one-man show, which means if I have to do YouTube shows, promote this, and build what I'm doing on YouTube with, thank God for you members and people sending super chats. I appreciate you so much. I don't have anybody, to fall back on other than, myself and obviously my brothers who are always giving me support in terms of encouragement and things like that. But it's you guys. You guys make it happen. Yes, thank you, KSSS, for dropping the Steins link. Please, guys, go check it out. Please go check it out. I had no idea. Let's see here. Disney now wants to focus on quality over quantity. They were going for they weren't going for quality. Yes, exactly. You're right. They don't have a hope in God, something after earth, indeed. And God shall lie. Yes. Background that's apparently. Yes, let's see. KSSS. Thank you, Charlie Stevenson. That side calls for increasing unity of thought. Yes. And that's what makes this is the thing. I'm very much like what John Cusack, not the actor, but his character said, Martin Blank in Grosse Pointe Blank, where he said, no unions. Like, is this going to be a union thing? I don't want to be in a meeting for being a lone, whatever he was. I can't really say it probably on stream, but anyway, in his work. And to me, it's the idea is that in Comicsgate, we're not one of those people that's like, oh, you're, how do I put it? We've got customers and we've got fans, but we're not a quote unquote community that's hell bent on saying, well, I'm a member of a community, so I can burn Star Wars down because you have to let me because I said I'm in the community. We each have our own platforms and we each have our own, our own specific ways we do things. And I'm not here to weigh in on how some other creator does what they do. That's what independence is. It's not about me. Like, we don't have some central authority that we report to, in CG. Thank God. Long may it be so. And that's what we're doing here. And it's incredible. I thank you guys so much for being here. 21 people still watching. God bless you. Yes, you got it. Not everyone may agree, but I'm of the opinion we've already at war under attack. Government doesn't seem to be too interested in getting to the bottom of things, but they seem to be in on it. Disney stopped caring about quality when they fired all their traditional animators. Yes, that's okay. Though now they make Black Sad and, yes, indeed, Elric Bondesine. You're absolutely right. Well, let me say this, too. How do I put this? watch documentaries. If you want context for where we are right now, watch documentaries on the 70s. We are in a absolutely similar time to the late 70s. There were cults. There were Hare Krishna, who look like a certain group of activists. If you really break them down and look at it, there's so many. You had the Black Panthers. You had all of these things that people do not really. I mean, obviously, those of you guys who were there remember it, but a lot of people don't remember how nuts things were. They were absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Corruption-wise, we had no shortage of cult leaders. We had no shortage of, it was unbelievable. Serial killers, all of that stuff. We're in a very similar time of nihilism. And what comes out of that is, what comes out of that if we work and we make it happen, and if we don't get blackpilled, is something positive. But I don't think you could talk about the mid to late 70s, I should say mid to early 70s, and say that the experience that we're having right now. I mean, they had hyperinflation, they had Carter, and all of that, and it was. I remember so much of that stuff. You had Jonestown, you had Son of Sam, you had all of that various stuff going on, and it was just a terrible, terrible time for the country. It was very much about politics. It wasn't about civics. It wasn't about people being intellectually curious. It was just about unending nihilism. You had superheroes and all of their, problems with substance abuse. You had a lot of storytelling that was geared towards talking about things that weren't about great superhero stuff. I don't care how well written it was. It was a very nihilistic time. Yes, I was born in the Jimmy Carter age, so I apologize for not having a ton of experience with it, but I came of age during Reagan, and it's amazing. Because Indian immigrants who came over, my father was one, came over to this country, were coming over as doctors. They were sent to the toughest towns in America by the end of the 70s. So I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s in Houston, Baltimore, and Detroit. And I was watching Uniroyal Tires and all these places go out of business. Everybody was leaving the neighborhoods. There were no jobs. It was unbelievable. Jimmy Carter, the Black Panthers, inflation, Jim Jones, the 70s were a wild time. That's putting it mildly. You're right. And absolutely back the Steins. It was a hellhole. An absolute hellhole. And we have the same shortage of doctors right now. Same shortage. The misery index on the evening news broadcasts, you're absolutely right. Reagan the Wise, ne'er a better modern president. I'd agree with that. Trust but verify, one of my favorite quotes of all time. I use it a lot right now. You have to. I mean, there was certainly a time when I started teaching where I was naive enough to just assume everything a student was telling me about what was going on in their life was true, and then you would find out stuff later, and you were like, "Oh dear, that person was absolutely barking." But it is one of those things that you have to do in the independent space. I mean, I've done some artwork of RAZÖRFIST characters for fun, and him and I message back and forth. It's great, and it's really nice. But I am very aware that RAZÖRFIST keeps his distance from anyone new he meets, and my God, I can't blame him. Was incredibly surprised he would even communicate back and forth with me, because if I was him, I would just assume the worst. And at the same time, he's incredibly optimistic, and he does reach out to people. He's a great guy. Let me be really clear about that. But I don't know how, if I were him, I would. It's got to be exhausting, the stupidity. Although, I mean, he handles it well. I don't want to turn him into a victim. I think he's a tough dude and knows what he's doing. But yeah, these were tougher times. And I mean, if you just type in, and during a similar period of youth-focused child rearing and utterly poor behavior, people dressing sloppy as all hell, and poor body hygiene. I mean, don't get me started, guys. It was it is very much, we are in an echo of the 70s right now. It's not, and the Roaring 20s weren't much better, but it's similar period of decadent stuff and nihilism. And that's why I feel like it's important for me when I've got, my brother Jericho Green is doing his channel and talking about some of this nonsense, and he's served in the Navy, and he's incredibly quick on his feet and suffers no fools. I'm there to help, man. I'm there to help. Yeah, damn, the 70s were a brutal time for comic book characters as well. You're absolutely right. I liked Speedy. Speedy had problems, but we love Speedy. We welcome him back into the fold. I was there in the 70s. I have the pictures of 2-year-old me in checkered bell-bottom pants to prove it. I was a groovy toddler. I know you were. Speedy was a junkie. You've got it. Your dad hopped around big cities? Yep. Had to. When you came over, it was almost like until they gave you your citizenship, you had to work for it, obviously, because we had a shortage of doctors. Because again, in the 60s, a generation of kids grew up following their dreams and their lack of interest in jobs that would really help in the country, that we had to bring in a bunch of immigrants to this country. That's why I'm here. I was born in Houston. That's the reason. Iron Man was a drunk. Yes, indeed. Your dad hopped around this week. Yes, I did. Speedy was a junkie. I was there in the... Got my glasses fell. I was there in the 70s. Yes, I have pictures. I like Speedy. Sorry, I got to catch up. Reagan was defeated in the 76 election and persevered to win the 1980 election. That's an interesting thought there, Charlie Stevenson. Yeah, my parents came over from Chile as immigrants, living in Queens in the 70s. My God, I know. Seriously, you know what I'm talking about. I remember some of it, the wood-paneled station wagons. Oh my God, we had a Volare station wagon with wood panels. Yes, we did. And the Julio Iglesias records. Absolutely. My God. Yes. Amen. Sounds like right now to young black men and women, quit wearing your hair weird. You don't live in Africa. There you go. According to hippies from the 60s and 70s, those times were a paradise. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for that. Michael Bancroft with a super chat. $20 super chat from Michael Bancroft. Speaker fees for my CG motivational speaker. I love you, brother. I was just singing your praises before. God bless you, Michael, and thank you for the super chat. I must send a cheerleader your way. Here you go. Charge! Thank you, sir. God bless you. Bancroft is awake, and by the way, happy Monday, Michael. From the future, he brings tidings of joy. Hail Bancroft, indeed. Dan Lawless, I had a baby. Oh, I had one of those too. Blue leisure suit with a bolo tie. I was too cool. I had a powder blue suit when I was a ring bearer at a wedding. My God, when I was a little kid. Hey, Ellie Munoz. I too am first generation American. You know what I'm talking about. I'm first generation, born in the States, man. Love it. Let's see here. Hey, Cranberry Langers. My family came to the U.S. from Germany in the early 1950s. Yeah. So, on my mother's side, it was half Austrian, half Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican U.S. military. She was born on a base in Trieste, and her mother was Austrian, German-speaking Austrian, and met my grandfather when he was stationed over there. So, yeah, I have a very interesting background, but I'm the first generation. Well, my mother was born on a military base in Trieste, so technically, American naturalized citizen. But we're first generation on my father's side, born in the States. It's kind of incredible, or to be American, I should say. Actually, nobody a couple generations back was. Let me see here. Hail. Let me see. I wore a cravat and yellow suede fluffy shirt about 30 years after How to Draw Comics with Dan Lawless as a Halloween outfit. Isn't that crazy? We still have it done. Michael Bancroft, hail to my favorite Bogan, and thanks for showing up at the end of week musings last week. There you go. Much love, man. And happy birthday, KSSS from Sumo Thori. Thank you guys for being here. I do appreciate it. My God, 38 likes. You guys are crushing it today. Yes, and back Lucent Waking Dream, the Second Chance campaign on the official Michael Bancroft website. Speaking of us building our own parallel economy. So important that we're all doing that stuff. I'm talking to so many people who are building their own websites after launching, on Indiegogo and, doing things the way that we had been doing things because we're a highly motivated group. And the more, again, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Well, we've seen that, haven't we? That's what the 70s was, and that's what the time period we're in right now. We had a lot of ease for a long time, and it was a great threat to our progress as a country. And the things that we're experiencing right now are unpleasant, and they're having real effects on everybody, and my family is included in that. However, we are going to come out of this, and we are making progress. We have to think about that, because I would not be doing what I was doing if it wasn't for the situation we're in right now. I would not be doing Nosfero, and I thank God for that every single day. I would have stayed in academia, if it had never gone woke and never gone Marxist and never gone insane. So I am grateful. While I am not wild about the situation that we're in right now, I do, and again, having, been tested in my life with various things, I don't ever lose optimism, and I really do believe that these are the fires that make great steel. We're gonna get we're a hell of an ingot right now, and we're gonna hammer it into a sword, without a doubt. Yeah, that was a cool show. Thanks for the recommendation, indeed, Bancroft. I have a bone to pick with you for that cliffhanger in Lucent. Yes, I know what you're talking about, man. Michael Bancroft. The panels are some of my favorite peeps on the web outside of Comicsgate. Mr. Brown is good people. There you go. Easy times create weak men create hard times create strong men. Indeed. Thanks for remembering KSSS. It's my birthday for reals. Whoosh. There you go. Check out the Lucent Pain of Death. Make sure you sign up for it. The link is in the descriptions. Yep, it's now hard times. You're absolutely right. Yeah, guys. I play that trailer first on my channel every week because, hell, Michael was the first Comicsgate person to have me on his show, and then he launched my book successfully. I made it unsuccessful. No, I'm kidding. It was incredibly successful, Michael. Thank you. It was, I thought I was going to be launching it on my own channel, man. I don't even know what my audience was at that point, dude. That was incredible. When you guys were like, oh no, you launched it. It would do so much better if you had launched it. I was like, I can't believe it's doing this well. Oh my God, man. You and Mel are great. It was funny. When I started this stream, I had this crazy thought, and it's weird because I haven't got a chance to ever, I know Mel from the streams, but I was thinking, I miss Michael and Mel. I miss Rob too, man. That's the toughest thing about not doing CGT anymore, man, is missing you crazy cats. It's nuts. But the love is always there, man. The love is always there. Let's see here. Public education failed me. I tested out of high school with second-year college level scores. I did that, not them. Yeah. And I will say this too, which is, how do I word it? It's the most important thing to get in your education is an understanding of this country and not a reframing of it. And, that's where you learn these American values, because the respect for your liberty, freedom of speech, presumption of innocence comes to mind. These are things that you are not born with because it seems really easy to jump to conclusions in people's minds. That's a very primal sort of thing. And the fact that we have it codified in law is important. The fact that we have free enterprise and that we should have free enterprise and we should have non-interference by corporations that are unevenly pushing or policing what people do to kind of basically put their hand on the scale. And that was something that was really interesting to me, and it's something that you see everywhere. It's a gross misunderstanding that is even spouted when it hurts the person's argument. I remember when Ethan was talking about one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, and this is not a political statement, it's a common sense statement, of the Ruth Bader Ginsburg action figure campaign, which was, by the way, poorly articulated. I don't know what the message they were trying to send was, but it was a very weird thing. And the pitch for it said she's keeping her finger on the scale of justice. So this person did not seem to understand that you don't want to put your hand on the scale of justice if you are a good person. It was almost like they had no concept of what they were saying. And I was laughing my head off. I go, what do you do with that? Like when somebody doesn't even understand the basic idea that a scale is most effective when it is not being interfered with. I can adjust my scale to say I weigh 20 pounds less. That is not a good thing. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I saw that and I went, these people are nuts. Michael has lost 23 pounds. Well done, my friend. Yes, thank you. Sorry about the cliffhanger. There you go. Let's see here. Hello. Oh, yes, I know. Mel's been away. I know. Oh. I know. 2K since Mel's been away. Dude, I feel you, man. I feel you. Everybody loves Mel. It must be unbelievably difficult to go without such an amazing wife and mother and the beautiful kids. Are the kids there, or did she take them with her? Gosh. Oh, I think they left. That's right. You told me that. That's got to be hard. I will be. I'm sure I will be commiserating with you soon about that. Because I know the missus has got a trip planned, and it's like, oh man, It's one of those things. Michael Brancroft, nah, it's fine. Keeps me motivated to backpaint that. That's right. RPG and action. I know, it was weird, right? I don't care. I don't care who we're talking about. It's a strange idea for an action figure. It's just really strange. I'm not pulling your leg. It's really weird. Yeah, they believe in shaping society. I believe it's a futile effort that will... Yeah, well, here's the thing about it, is that the one thing about the younger generation that's great... Lost 23 pounds, did he lose his forehead? Oh my god, Green Laser. And Hale, it's great to see you, my friend. I think of it like this. The younger generation is never interested in what the older generation is telling them is the right thing to do. And it is the biggest mistake. And when you raise a generation... And people don't realize this. You're not young and hip, quote unquote, forever. Or I should say in quotes, forever. And what you think is hip right now is going to make you seem old. And I think there's a generation of people who've been pushing politics in their youth who haven't realized they've gotten old, and the younger generation thinks they're insane. And when they realize that, it's going to be brutal. And the ones who are the most ardent believers in their ideology are going to cancel them, because they will see them as old and out of touch, and they will have something that they want, and that is what's inevitable. And so I feel like the comeuppance is already happening. And, or I should say, I feel like the pendulum is already swinging, because people are realizing there is not, like, they're not going to have your back when the ship goes down. These are not loyal people. These are opportunists. And when you're cynical about everybody who is more successful than you, then what is the benefit of being successful? You're going to get canceled. You're going to get attacked. You're going to have people harassing you, telling you people you don't deserve what you earn. The great thing about Comicsgate is knowing that I am free to say I deserve everything I've earned. I've worked hard. Oh, Lost and Negative is that he gained 23 pounds. You guys are hilarious. Shanth, do you think Fake Irishman has the RBG action figure on his nightstand? Seems like the only demographic that would appeal to. I don't know who that would appeal to. If I was her family, I would be very concerned about anyone who had that action figure on their nightstand. That would be like someone coming up to you and saying, hey man, I just got an action figure of your grandmother. You'd be like, I need a restraining order and give me that, you weirdo. Very strange. Yes, the pendulum is swinging, absolutely, finally. They can't win. If they strike us down, we shall become more powerful than they can possibly imagine. Is that from that birthday record from the 70s by Captain Zoom? Sorry, I had to go 2 for 2, Dan. Much love. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it anymore, and what it seems weird and scary. It'll happen to you. I know what you mean. 40% Zed, it's so true. How to Draw Comics by Dan Lawless. Nice, indeed. Yeah, because this is the thing. Youth wants to be young, and they cheated. And thank God I was able to, protect my kids from this as much as possible. I think quite a bit, actually, and a lot of people have. But they robbed an entire generation from their youth to have them talk about politics they know nothing about. And I hope it was worth not having any fun during your teen years, not having any laughter, not having any great late night conversations, not flirting with the opposite sex, and having weird adults way too involved who are not your parents and not family, way too involved in your life. Because to me, that is a very, very bitter trade-off. They took the fun out of childhood and teen years for an entire generation, and people thinking that generation is not going to be resentful and not be happy with them, they're going to do whatever they can to be against that. It's going to be bad, or not going to be bad, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. But if the artwork isn't there, and I think Malin said this, he goes, we have to be making our stuff really great now, because we're going to want to have a library of products for them to buy when that pendulum swings. And I remember thinking, damn, John's smart, but he's the coach. Of course he's smart. Yeah, preach it, Zed, indeed. Yeah, preach it, Zed. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Hail indeed. Star Wars. I know it's Star Wars. I know, Dan. You know it. I love that. That's beautiful. There are millennials who are now 40 pushing their politics on kids, thinking kids will think they're cool. I know, this is... Okay, we'll get to that. 40-somethings told my gen to just say no. Don't know how many who listen, just saying. So let me tell you guys this. I started teaching college when I was 26 or 27. And even I walked in there going, I'm old. I'd already worked in the industry. I'd done so many different things. I was married. I'd been married for 3 or 4 years at that point. And I thought, when I was 30 and 40, I was really enjoying when I was when I was teaching and I was 30 and 40, I enjoyed being the older person. Like, I enjoyed that. I never thought I was there to be cool or hip, but I saw plenty of teachers older than me, younger than me, and my age who were trying to still be hip with the students. I do not understand it. You are not hip. Grow up. It just looks embarrassing at a certain point if you try to be hip and cool. I really don't understand that. If you're not Tom Cruise, you know what I mean? It's like, just stop. Stop. Grow old gracefully. And I remember how much my generation, when we were coming up, the latchkey kids and everything else, how much, like, a lot of us realized how important it is to grow old gracefully. Let's just say that. From our friends' parents and everybody trying to be young and be our friends. I'm a Gen Zer. I sometimes sound like I'm a boomer in a wheelchair. Listen, how do I word this? The loudest members of every generation are the ones that try to define it. But I can tell you this. I've heard from more millennials and more Gen Zers who are scratching their heads and going, I don't like this. So I think that the tide is turning. But they need the older generation to sort of, remind them of what's possible or introduce them to what's possible. In my best Tom Hardy Bane voice, I was born in a current thing, molded in it, shaped by it. By the time I knew anything else, it was nothing to me but blinding. That's the best I can do. Dan Lawless, Star Wars. What's a Star War? That's right. They're very quiet wars. I mean, I never hear them, so God bless them. God bless those stars for keeping it down, because I'm trying to sleep. I am trying to sleep sometimes, folks, up in here. Up in here. But, it's... what has really surprised me is they're seeing more and more artwork. A friend of mine who still works in art school, they're seeing more and more artwork by students that's being done in traditional media. So there's a massive... I really think it was the quarantine and the lockdowns that have turned an entire generation off of social media, because whenever they get on social media or Zoom, they have flashbacks to 2 years of their lives that sucked. And so you're seeing that. Holy cow, 40 likes. Thank you, guys. 22 people still in the chat. God bless you. But that was the smartest or the dumbest thing they could have done if they wanted to get people to be more sucked into technology. And by the way, again, an entire generation of millennials who first got on technology enjoyed it when it was fun before very similar people grew up to try to police it. I mean, look at the places where they've canceled people. I had a former student one time who's bought into this entire ideology send me a message about someone who had deeply admired John Lasseter and Pixar. Sent me a message about how it's like all of us in the industry are like having to disavow John Lasseter and disavow the new animation studio he's at. And I remember just thinking, this sounds like witch trials. You sound like a psycho. What the hell are you doing? And, of course, Pixar is now, collapsing under the absence of a talent. And John Lasseter is starting up something new. And I go, I wonder if you're still going to be singing that tune, when the pendulum swings. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people out there who have been a part of this kind of stuff where you would not have believed. I would never have believed how many people would get sucked into all this insanity. But I think they were looking to follow something blindly. I think that's a type of person that looks to follow things blindly. I don't think it's the ideology. I think it's the mentality. And as much as they wouldn't like to think that, they're natural collectivists. That's what they do, Let's see here. Only vintage Xbox and Xbox 360 games. Wow, dang, I missed something here. Every news site had an open comment section. Didn't last long. Amen. Most newbies have no idea what the Wild West net days were like. They don't. And aren't we glad we fought for net neutrality? Right. Aren't Xbox games the raddest? You're right. Please comment after the stream as well. Comments are more recognized by the algorithm. Thank you for saying that, Husband Cyrus. You're absolutely right. 41 likes and counting. Thank you so much, guys. Eventually, you will look like an old, wrinkly person saying, "Sup, dog? What's up? Where are you hanging?" You're absolutely right. I don't like to pretend I'm young. It's not my thing. Shanth Enjeti art. Speaking of Star Wars, I had been tinkering around with a series that subverts the tropes of Star Wars. Can you and the chat help me ID the less obvious tropes? Wow, I don't know if I can. My brain power might be down. But I'll think on it. I like an Xbox or Game Boy or two, indeed. Yeah, I mean, when I think about the what was going on when I was a teacher, and I didn't think about it at first, is I realized more and more that one of the reasons my classes were always the highest waitlisted, thank you very much, at the Harvard of art schools. Thank you again very much, although that's not saying much. And I was crushing it there. And it was like crazy. It was the people who would get promoted and get full-time positions were oftentimes, not always, terrible teachers, didn't have wait lists, didn't even have any experience in the field. And what I kind of realize now, I mean, I'm sure, I'm not trying to say like, I was a genius, I was misunderstood. I mean, who cares? But the thing I look back on and think now, I was teaching very basic job skills like shaking hands and like how to shake a hand professionally, how to send an email, how to write things, how to contact people, how to get your portfolio ready. And I realize now more and more, these people probably thought I was conservative. Like they probably thought I was like this had a political ideology behind it. I just have horse sense. I'm an independent and I'm an American and I've read the Constitution. I know what it says. I believe in liberty. You know what I mean? I used to ask my students what Article 1 of the Constitution is. That probably made them think, something insane because that's how they view it. It's crazy. Crazy plus money equals hell for everyone else. Yeah, you're probably right. I like an Xbox or Game Boy. Let me see if I have this here. I used to look up to Billy Joel. Now he's just an old guy like me. There you go. Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's funny, isn't it, when you watch that stuff happen? Now, let's see here. Past Master Dan, paging Patrick Bateman. That's right, exactly. In order to point out less obvious tropes, I would require to know what the tropes you already have are. Technically, Star Wars itself, at the time, subverted tropes of fantasy and sci-fi. There you go. That's a very good point. That is a very good point. Yes, indeed. But, it's as far as this stuff goes, the things that happened that George Lucas did with Star Wars and all of the stuff that became big was heroism and optimism. And while Joseph Campbell, I know, gets a lot of credit because a lot of people liked what he was saying, particularly people like George Lucas, and yes, he read A Hero with 1,000 Faces and all that stuff, at the end of the day, I believe that stuff would have happened anyway. What he became is kind of an umbrella, an academic he's a lot like Jordan Peterson. And when people used to ask me, I wrote a big thing on one of my old educational blog, on Blogger, for God's sake, on Joseph Campbell, where I kind of deconstructed some of the things that were being leveled at him. I'd probably write it somewhat differently now even. And someone in the comment section said, who do you think is going to be the next Joseph Campbell? Like, where's it going to come from? And I said, it's going to be somebody with a medical background or more of a scientific approach. And when Jordan Peterson came along with his background in psychology, much like Jung, I was like, and he wrote a book, that 12 Rules for Life, that was basically the power of myth in terms of that series with Bill Moyers. I was like, we're here. So when you come into Comicsgate and you come into CG and you realize, oh, Ethan Van Sciver illustrated 12 Rules for Life, which I didn't even realize until, I don't know when I realized that, but I was like, this is absolutely insane. You start to see that something is happening here, and Ethan, Jordan Peterson gave Ethan some advice, like you can't back down from the mobbers and all that sort of stuff. So it really does bring things into perspective for you. So I think that's what we are. I think it starts here. This is where we are right now, is the late 70s, right before Star Wars came out. And this is Star Wars. That's what you guys have. Art imitates life, not the other way around. You're absolutely right. I already have a merry band of friends, says Hostman Socrates, in the freighter ship, the living droids, and the Order of Kinetic Knights with light swords, one good and one bad. There you go. Plus the more practical ones like space travel and space warfare. There you go. Liberty is Columbia. Absolutely right. Tear down your moral foundations and you're left with trash, and the ones who tore it down say, look at the trash our enemies created. Then you build pillars from the trash they created. That's absolutely right. Yes, business communication, indeed. Let's see here. Yes. I mean, this is the thing about it. You have to understand those basics. Yes, and elements of design. That's it. That's the stuff that you've got to know. Let me see here. I do think we've hit some historical points that won't be recognized for decades. You're absolutely right. Yep. Watershed moment. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of progress, because whenever people, how do I put it? If the stove is going to get hot anyway, whether you teach people the stove is hot or not, there's only so long they can pretend it's not hot and put their hand on it. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now. You know, you can't convince people that water is not wet increasingly, which is a relief, because you have to be incredibly isolated from water, and which would be suboptimal. But you have to be incredibly isolated and living in a world where you only have to drink wine to not consider what the hell water is and the importance of it. But nobody has trouble understanding the importance of things when they're scarce. And I think it was the Thomas Sowell or Milton Friedman quote, I forget, that was, the first rule of economics is scarcity. The first rule of politics is to ignore the first rule of economics. And that is a very good quote. The reason why something is valuable, like, say, talent or creativity in a book, like Nosfero or any other book out there, is because not a lot of people have this kind of skill, have this kind of discipline to sit down and do it and do the work. The same thing is true on YouTube. The same thing is true in teaching, in medicine, in sports, in being an electrician, being a plumber. Talk to any plumber or electrician or anybody working as a contractor trying to find help right now. They'll tell you about it. But everybody knows who the people are who work hard and get shit done. And that's what people are kind of realizing now. We need more of those people than we need people screeching at them. And it just becomes too expensive. So how, again, did I end up getting born in Houston, Texas? We ran out of doctors. And we were able to ignore sending people to medical school and encouraging people to go into jobs in fields that we needed as a country when we had a lot of them. But that changes real quick, and people realize we got to get serious and do some stuff that's valuable. A force-sensitive droid. There you go. That's actually a pretty good one. Jordan Peterson's turned me on to EVS and brought me into Comicsgate with EVS's 12 Rules for Life illustrations. Holy cow, Hostman, that's an awesome story. That's awesome. Let's see here. We are starting them in the. We're staring them in the eye. God, I can't read. And daring them to touch hit the surface. Yes, I love that metaphor. Oh, hot surface. Gotcha. That's exactly right. That you're absolutely right. It's totally what it is. You cannot long maintain that belief when there are consequences. And a lot of the ideas and things they had. Think about this. It was the very act. The second that they chased people like Ethan out of DC Comics, who were making DC Comics the money, thinking that they could get rid of him and keep the money. Same thing happened with John Lasseter. They were doomed. The second they did that, they were dooming themselves. Because, even though it was absolutely terrifying, and I wish to God he hadn't had to go through it just on a personal level to have his colleagues turn on him. I know a little bit about having your colleagues not being there for you. It's one of those things to where it's a painful experience, but when you leave, they don't realize that it's over. That there's, you can't drive out the people who do, in accord with the Pareto distribution, the majority of work in any avenue. You can't do it and have it survive. It was absolutely ridiculous, and now the consequences are real. There's nobody there who knows how to write good Superman comics or any of this stuff, and they're doomed. Yeah, call their bluff. Indeed. Yeah. I got tired of carrying other people's weight and having people take my work and not give me any credit for it, and I bailed. And it was funny. In both cases, people were utterly surprised. People were utterly surprised, and they were like, "Why are you leaving?" And I'm like going, "Are you freaking serious?" I'm leaving because, guess what? This job and the status that you may think it has is not as important to me as my principles, and I'm too damn skilled to put up with your shit anymore. Pardon my French on a Sunday. I apologize, folks. But it is true. It is important to make people have to stand by their convictions in that particular regard. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to do anything else. And, yeah. I like to make the work I do count, and I like to help where I can. That's what I do. At the end of the day, I'm here to get a better deal than I got in a bureaucratic Marxist society. And you guys remind me of that. Every time you guys send super chats, every time you guys become members of this channel, every time you guys back Nosfero, you remind me of that. I mean, shoot, if when I was teaching there had been a button to send super chats to me, I would have made a hell of a lot more super chats than most of my colleagues. And I think they know it. Because students appreciated what I had to say. And they couldn't stand that. Couldn't stand it. It's always one of those things. And you'd think it's funny because, again, if the people who are attracting students leave and they're only left with people who don't, what's your next strategy? This is true in comics, and this is true in the education industrial complex that is college. If you want to take a look at something that's absolutely horrifying, considering how well they treat their part-timers faculty, look at the cost of college since 1979. To say it hasn't tracked with inflation is putting it mildly. You are not paying for anything of value at this point. It is bananas. Yeah, let it flow. Let it flow. That's right. Thanks. I got a writer's block, but talking about these ideas with people usually gets my mind working. Very cool. Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, rip out the heart and the body fails. Amen. That's deep, Hostman. Yeah, absolutely right. An old Arthurian trope of the Band of Merry Men. There you go. They realize that the world's on fire, and that's bad once their shirt catches flames. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, you got to call their bluff. You got to call their bluff, and you've got to know that you know, you can't show people bad work and bad movies forever, because sooner or later, somebody's going to come up with a Top Gun Maverick or a John Wick 4, and everybody is going to go and see it. That's it. It's that simple. And sooner or later, people are... It's sad because they're... Oh, God, they're just... They want titles, they want positions, but they don't want the work that comes along with it. And that really is the problem. Being a teacher or being a professor in a field means you either have to be really... I mean, you have to be good at both, actually, I should say. Communicating information, but you should have the skills at the highest level that is possible for them to hire. And I feel pretty good about my painting ability, my drawing ability, and my teaching ability. That's what it should mean, but it does not mean that. Just like if you're working in comics, you have one job if you're working for DC and Marvel, and that's sell a ton of Batman comics. I think Todd McFarlane can say he sold a ton of Spider-Man comics. Jim Lee can say he sold a ton of X-Men comics. And all of the generations before them of the great artists could say that. These people can't, and they know it. You know, and they know it. And it's ridiculous. You know, it's ridiculous to... I don't know why you would even want to pretend something to be something you're not. It feels exhausting, man. I assume you've looked at the TV Tropes website for a list of tropes, but if you haven't, check this out. It's got A New Hope listed there as a film. Thank you so much. A sect, as it were, seeking the reason they follow natural order. A sect, as it were, seeking the reason they follow natural order. There you go. I think I read that right, but my reading has gone downhill. Which countries border the U.S.? Europe and Brazil. You're absolutely right. That's true. You can chase an audience or create something they didn't realize they needed well, or try to force them to your slop. You're absolutely right. I heard somebody talking about this who runs a haunted house in Georgia called Netherworld. It's a really cool thing. It was on the Grim Life Collective channel. And they talk about this too. And he said, yes, they want to come here to be scared. We make a haunted house. But he goes, we try to give them what they want, but also give them what we want to make. It's a combination of the two. Like, there's an interplay of it. Because when I go to a restaurant, if there's something there that I've never eaten before that I'm going to love, only ordering what I already know or only getting what I already know isn't going to make that happen. Getting nothing like what I already know might not make that happen either, depending on how adventurous you are. But if you have a dish somewhere and it's something that has a little bit of something you weren't expecting, and it makes you trust the restaurant, go, man, the stuff here is good. I'll try something else. That's what we're in the business of doing. And it's great, man. It's great. Yeah, why did you Force Awaken? Why did the Force awaken in me? An automaton. There you go. Yeah, I am but an empty vessel for it to fill and use it. Use as it sees fit. I carry out its will, and there is nothing else. There you go. But yeah, guys. I mean, it's like I said. I am optimistic about things. And I look at these things and I realize how nuts they are. I realize how crazy they are. And then my job is to find the places where I can give people an alternative. And if the people and the platforms and the things that are going to have longevity, one way or another, are going to be the ones that take care of their audience of tomorrow and take care of the people of tomorrow. And if people don't realize that the next generation is your audience, the next generation is, your next generation of doctors, your next generation of people who do very vital things, electricians, plumbers, and they're not just these sacks of endless potential that's never realized, then you're going to be in big trouble. And I think you're seeing people coming to terms with that, where they're going, wow, like a lot of young people who are going, yeah, this whole thing seems nuts, I'm going to go this way. And it's because they've been through the experiences they have in the last couple of years. They've actually got a really good head on their shoulders. A lot of them have. And it's, like I said, it's harder to have those kinds of ideas and play them out. If you treat people like garbage, or you go and pick fights with people online, that might work for a little bit, or it might be interesting for a little bit, but sooner or later that stuff's going to catch up with you. And when it's there, when it catches up with you, you're going to see it doesn't work. It's the way it is. All right, gang, let me see what we got here. Awesome. No allegiance other than the Force objective. There you go. Incorruptible. There you have it. And the cold logic to use it only for the good of the Force. Look at this. You guys are like having this infinite knowledge. My God, look at all this stuff. You guys are having a very heady conversation there in the chat. God bless you. All right, guys. So we are, it's been 2 hours and 45 minutes, almost a 3-hour stream. Look at that. Pretty crazy. So I'm going to wrap things up now. I've got, I hopefully have, knock on wood, updated the, I have actually, channel members' credits on this stream. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for the super chats. I really do appreciate it. My family appreciates it. Nosfero is a stunner. Thank you to Comicsgate. Thank you, Iron Age creators. Thank you to all my brothers out there in this. Jericho Green, Gabe, Ethan, Eric July, Shane Davis, Vaughn, Michael Bancroft, Eric Weathers, Rob Arnold. Gosh, who else? Just trying to think of everybody. Throw your favorite Comicsgate creators in the chat. Guys, do me a favor. This is a great way for us to wrap up this stream. If there's a creator, Narwhal, my Nosfero bro, if there's a creator in Comicsgate of the Iron Age that you love, throw their name in the chat for me. Right? Throw their name in the chat. Who are you appreciative of? Whose stuff are you excited about? And let's get that in the chat, because I think that's a great way for us to do our stuff. Dale Keown, God, who else? There's so many people. Clint Stoker, Mandy Summers, Anna, that Star Wars girl. I've been watching her paintings of progress on Instagram. She's doing great stuff with her oil paintings. Who else? Kenneth Rocafort. Thank you. Narwhal. There's Lost Master. That's right. Thanks, Sean. You're welcome, Michael Bancroft. Much love. Narwhals. Head to Narwhals after this finishes. Gosh, you got to teach me how to do those things. But yes, please go over to Narwhals. Vonster, indeed. Let's see here. 000. Hello. Everybody's saying hello. Audi. Shelby Robertson. There you go. Shanth, Dan, Aaron, Shane, Dale, Reenie, Bancroft, Zaid Comics, indeed. Fare thee well all. Hail, Shanth. Thank you, Past Master Dan. Much love. Thank you, American Comic Company. Duck Bacon. There you go. I can think of so many creators. I just have to look at Andy Smith. Oh my gosh. Andy Smith. Graham Nolan. I could just do the intros I've done, for God's sake. Cecil, of course. Where would we be without Cecil? Dan Lawless. Just trying to think of all my brothers, man. I know there's a bunch of people I'm forgetting. I'm going to be kicking myself for even starting this. That's terrible. It's terrible. Now I'm gonna go into a guilt spiral. Oh my gosh. Kelsey Shannon. Who else? Come on, guys. Help me out here. Lots. Vaughn and Bancroft. Yes, indeed. Gabe. Vaughn. Au revoir. Adios. Ciao. Indeed. Joe M. Sontag. Yes, exactly. Joe. Yes. Reaper Destroyer. There it is, folks. Check it out. Bienvenido. That worked out. More. And all that talent here. CG, indeed. Thank you, guys. Dale Keown, indeed. Camel Moon. Yes, Camel Moon. Odin, absolutely. Odin, for sure. Reenie, you meant for art. Oh my gosh. 40% said yes. Billy Tucci, I see in the chat. Who is doing death. Indeed. Everybody have a great day, says Stephen Rockwood. Yes, indeed. Tucci. Yeah, guys, and please leave a comment as soon as this stream wraps up. It does help the algorithm. Bancroft from Hostman Socrates. Lopez, indeed. They do love me. Yes, indeed. We all love you. That's the way it is, Past Master Dan. Lopez, thank you guys so much for all of this stuff. Yeah, we've got some great people in this space. Justin Sweet of Chrome Dog is new. Yes, indeed. Justin Sweet is Chrome Dog is new. We really are spoiled. Yes, we are. Have you found the master's brush? Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mighty Geek Studios. Hail to you. Ditto. Good day, Shanth and family. Yes, and a happy Palm Sunday to all of you guys who are celebrating Palm Sunday. Much love to all of you. Have a great Sunday, a great rest of the week. And if you're in Australia, have a wonderful Monday. Take care, folks. I will see you soon. And as always, peace, because that's what my name means, and stay gold. All right, guys? Ciao. Take care. I'll see you.